5 of you are in the yawning portal. You've been summoned there by Volotham Geddarn. Disaster? No, that's sorry. We did that part already. But let's skip forward. Last time we were together, the 5 of you had just been given a tour of your new home / base / business, the Troll Skull Manor, located in scenic Waterdeep. What is this? Go away.
Go.
All right. So, Volo had given you a tour, had shown you the impressive but quite rough state of the place. It's a huge building with massive. It's 4 stories tall. It's got balconies and a turret and at least 5 chimneys, and the place is an imposing structure, but it's clearly seen a lot of wear and tear and a lot of disrepair. Right, and so Volo has led you through to give you a kind of a tour and let you look at the state of the place and get an idea of the kind of work and the kind of money it's going to take to really revitalize the place. However, you're getting it for free, so beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Volo also mentioned that he had gotten a hold of the building and the property because he's writing his new guide to spirit inspectors, and he was hoping that the rumor that he'd heard about the place being haunted by a poltergeist and various other spirits was factually true, and so he was going to use that to sort of as research for his book. Instead, however, he needed to pay you guys off for finding Floon and in turn Renair, and so there you go. You've been pawned off for this rather nice building, but it's a fixer-up.
Right. And potentially haunted.
So after that, you had decided to go your separate ways, go back to your various, homes or residences to have a sleep, knowing that tomorrow morning, where we're going to start, somebody would be meeting Volo down in the North Ward, I think it was, at a sort of an official courthouse type facility to transfer the deed of ownership to you guys and take care of the estate tax and all that stuff, to make sure that you were legal owners of the place. It was in the Castle Ward, yes. Yes, you were told that you were going to meet with a magistrate named Kylin Silmerhelm, excuse me. Silmerhelm. I'm sorry. This book is written in English and it's not my first language.
They started with Silverhelm and just reversed it.
Yes. Silmerhelm.
How is that spelled?
S-I-L
Okay.
M-E-R-H-E-L-V-E. Silmerhelm.
Dang.
I know. Now you see why I had to do it. I had to take a couple of shots at that. Okay, so it is the morning of, let's see here. It is Myrtle 22nd, 1492 DR. It is a pretty nice day. By this time in the month, the most of the remnants of winter have turned completely into sort of the drippings and sort of moist patches of the very end of winter, and things have they've started to heat up into the pleasant feeling of spring.
Mud season.
Mud season is a good way to look at it. Yeah. You know that this is the second day of the week, and you know that near the end of the week on the 26th is supposed to be the famed open feast in Waterdeep, which may interest you now that you are land-owning members of Waterdeep. Maybe you're part of the neighborhood watch committee. You have to bring potluck. Who knows?
Do we get to vote?
No, you're not. You're not allowed to vote.
Dang it.
So,
Someday.
who had agreed to meet with Volo at the magistrate's office in the castle ward? I know somebody had mentioned going there. I'm not sure if all of you were going to be there or if one or two of you were going to meet to be a representative.
I don't know.
I think
Can
I
I
did
wake up
promise.
early and do some stuff? Because there's stuff I want to do before that.
You want to wake up particularly early, like at daybreak, maybe?
Wake with the crow.
As long as some of the... I wanted to wake early enough that I could get some of the shops early.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, first place I want to go is Betty's Bondage Boutique. Because that's where I buy my rope.
Okay.
The best silken rope in all of Waterdeep.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you purchasing there?
Buy
Just rope.
50 feet of rope.
50 feet of rope. Okay, that's the traditional cost. It's like what? It's
10.
10 GP? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 10 for silver. Or silk.
Got to get that good stuff.
Okay, Bonnie gives you a kind of eye, like she knows that this isn't going to last. You know, she's going to be in here next week to pick up another coil of rope. But I mean, you're paying her, so she can't complain.
Except for rolling dice.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Oh,
You got
and probably something I wanted to do before that
Okay.
was
Oh, okay.
spend 10
The
minutes
wormwood
casting
thing?
Detect Magic on that warehouse parchment that we found.
It
Okay.
looked like it was
Yeah.
like pewter, or not pewter, ceramic.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, that would have been
I
weird.
got my find my. Can I show you these things?
Like
Yeah.
potentially
Yes,
damaging.
got it. Okay.
This is
So you cast Detect Magic.
this is from last gen.
Metal
Okay.
to
That's
ceramic,
something about
and then
last year.
ceramic like
Oh,
scratch.
yes.
Oh, I like this.
If you use metal or like
Purple striped agate.
Oh.
stony
Yeah, I like the hat.
ones like that one.
So the year before I bought from
Aha.
Crystal Cast, and I wasn't a big fan because all my dice are
Weird
so some of
sized.
them are like not cut very well,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember you pointing that
which is
out.
fine. But I mean, they're cool. But these
Those
are
look
much
good.
happier. And
Yeah.
these,
How'd
So,
you do in your
after
turn?
casting Detect Magic,
Star Wars.
you realize that
That's
this
second
is, sure enough, a
Nice.
magical item, and that it's School of Magic. Is
What's worth it, if you don't mind me asking?
what's the name of that?
90.
Transmutation, abjuration.
The magic is one that is transformative. Does that make sense?
Transmutation.
So, technically, the material of this item is not changing; it's changing form, essentially. So, whichever school of magic that is, I can't think of it. at the top of my head.
Transmutation?
It's probably still transmutation, like polymorph.
All right. Well, if polymorph
Could
is
be,
transmutation, then that would be the school of magic.
The
So you do
schools are
recognize
loosely
that
defined
this
anyways.
parchment that you found in the
Plant
offices
also
of the
transmutation.
Zentarum hideout.
Plant growth?
Sure enough, it is
Also
magical.
transmutation.
Okay.
Because it's making
Okay,
things
the
work.
other place I want to go to is
So would
Menor
enlarge be
Emergency.
transmutation too?
Would it be evocation?
Renair?
Because it's pure energy.
Place?
You're conjuration because you're bringing that in. That's the problem.
All
with
right.
schools.
What's your
Yes.
business there?
It's probably evocation.
I tell them
Just
who I
vague
am, the Raven Duskstar. I was part of the group instrumental in his release.
Largest transmutation.
It's amazing
And
for such a
then
big table.
I
We need
would-
more room.
Like to either get a message to him
Or just like take up
or,
more space.
if at all possible, have a meeting with him.
And you bought the rope first, which
Okay.
means
So you approach the estate, and the well-dressed burgundy-robed docent at the door
That's a good dose.
greets you, and he hears you out, and he says that Renair is, given the hour, he's not really prepared to receive guests at the moment, but that the docent would be more than happy to send a message along, and that he would be in contact with you at some point within the next full day.
Okay, so I asked him to please tell Manor.
Renair?
I got his last name.
Never remember.
Yeah, Renair. Please tell Lord Evernember that I found something magical in the place where he was held captive, and it might lead to why they took him. And I believe he would have more resources than I would to figure out what it is.
Very well. The docent retrieves a scrap of paper and with a bit of charcoal is able to jot down that information and says that he will get it to them as soon as the Mr. Neverember is receiving letters and matters of state and so on.
I thank him and leave.
Of course.
I'm ready to go meet Bobo.
Does anybody else want to take care of anything in the morning before we move on to
Not until I can afford studded leather.
the estate? Well, now that you've inherited this fixer-upper, it may be a long, long time before you can.
I never see the black again. Always going to be in the red.
Okay. So the lot of
That's why you get alone.
unless
To be further in the red.
unless you desire otherwise, the lot of you make your way to the castle ward. The sun is still climbing into the sky. You reckon it's about probably about 10 o'clock in the morning. The streets of the castle ward are given a place of this size, still bustling even at this hour. Lots of movement from merchants and tourists and well-to-do folks making their rounds. You head to a large marble building done in a sort of classical style with ionic columns and so on. And you sure enough see Volo with his trademark jaunty cap waiting outside at the steps with what looks like a scroll case at his side, and he is enjoying a fresh, probably a tangerine or something.
Good for him.
Approach, hood down, a little bit more relaxed than previous days.
Oh, excuse me for a moment.
Take your time.
Oh, yes, hello. Are the lot of you here for the opportunity of a lifetime? Yes?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure
That's
you
how
will
I
be
think it.
happy with the manor. We just have to take care of a few simple bureaucratic mechanisms before we can make sure that you are legally on the books, the owners, plural, of the manor. Now, Miss Silmerhelv is already in her office, prepared to take care of this. We have an appointment in just a few minutes, and so without further ado, let's hop on, shall we?
Did you talk to Lord
Hmm?
Neverember about perhaps paying for this?
Yes. Yes. I was miles away for a moment. I'm sorry. Yes. The previous evening, I was able to get a message to Renair, and I explained to him your. I'm trying to remember exactly how I worded it. Your unfortunate circumstances, and explained that the lot of you that you were rich in heroism and character and forthrightness, but poor in money. So
Yes, because you didn't pay us.
I am paying you with the value of the estate and the property that I'm granted. Never mind. And he has agreed to take care of the estate tax.
Oh, that's very generous of him.
Yes,
Please send along my thanks.
of course, and I will. Now, if you'll follow me, gentlemen and lady.
We're catching back up.
Let's see. Lance's character is male.
Yep.
I think the female characters are Stephen and Robert, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yep, Nora and Raven.
Usually I have a little jotting down of the gender presentation for these characters, but I didn't have one right here for some reason. Okay.
Nora was.
All right. So a lot of you make your way through a nice marble tiled hall with a sort of it's got a high ceilings and lots of echoey surfaces, befitting a rather moneyed place like Waterdeep, and especially the castle ward. Yeah, thank you. And you make your way through around a couple of staircases up to what looks like the 4th floor of the building. You turn into an expansive hallway with lots of double doors periodically through the left and right hand walls. And Bola goes in, does a quick shave and a haircut at the door. You hear a sort of a short voice, "Come in," and he opens the doors wide. And a lot of you stride into a rather nicely furnished office, behind which is sitting a tiefling woman in what looks like what you would reckon are formal clothing. Not quite the clothing of a noble or a clergyman or something like that, but something befitting her station as a member of, a representative of the government. So, this tiefling woman looks like she's middle-aged, crimson skin, dark blue hair, black eyes. Wearing a sort of a golden amulet. She is with a quill pen, seems to be writing some notes down on some loose leaf parchment on her desk. And she sees, without looking up, she says, "Please have a seat."
Have a seat.
And there are a couple of chairs and small like stool type, not more like an ottoman really, but a high ottoman. Set out in front of her desk for you to recline.
Take a seat, feet up.
You see Volo removes his hat and sort of almost nervously fiddling with it, wrinkling it.
Brush off my
I'll make myself very small on it. Just be like, man, this is probably pretty crowded.
Magistrate Silmerhelf? Miss Silverhelm. Miss Sil-
Apparently she doesn't want the money. Let's just go.
After what seems like a long flourish of a signature, she underlines and then looks up. Can I help you? Yes, yes. You remember me, Magistrate Silmerhelf, Volothan Geron, writer, raconteur, and exchanger of estates. You remember our appointment this morning? She gives him a sort of a deadpan look. Yes. Well, these are the new owners of Troll Skull Manor. And we are just here to take care of some formalities. And he continues to talk, and you see that without looking away, Magistrate Silmerhelm reaches into her desk, pulls a sheath of documents, and just puts it in front of his face. Yes. Well, I presume I'll have to sign these, and then she gives a sort of very slow nod.
Notarize them.
All right. Let's see here. And... So,
Probably the notarization.
Magistrate Silmerhelm will act as the witnessing of the transfer of the deed, which I have here in my scrolled case. Now, once we do that, that will render the ownership official, and we'll have to sign here. Let's see, René's already paid the estate tax. There's his signature right there at the bottom. Let's see here. Now, if you will all please sign this document and this one, and no, that one's mine. And you'll sign this one as well. All three of you. I'll need all of your signatures, and at that point we will transfer it over to Magistrate Silmerhelm, and the official transfer of ownership should happen within 2 days or so.
I sign the documents and pass them along.
I look
You're
at them.
actually gonna read them.
Oh, you want to try to
The
Well, you don't have to roll for it. You can read. I
I'm
assume.
like,
Yeah, but he's reading legalese.
but yes, it's like a legal document. I'm just sort of like,
All right. Well, give me an intelligence check. How about that?
History?
No,
No.
Intelligence.
an intelligence
Yeah.
check.
Just raw int.
Okay, so that'd be a 9.
9.
I'm like,
I mean, there is nothing leaping out at you in this document like party to the second party will agree that the party to the first party must surrender all of their clothing.
into my head, it's just like glazing over.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's like,
You make an
checks out.
you make an honest try of it, like the first paragraph, and your eyes sort of glaze over.
Then I look at everyone else. Make sure they're like, if they're paying attention, just gotta go through each page now.
Right.
Crap.
You do a pretty good survey of all the pages. Yep, there's ink here. It
Now
appears to be in common. Yeah.
now I need a bluff check. Like, okay, just write it.
I mean, if you're trying to fool them, I mean, go right ahead.
I don't care.
It's going to be bad.
It's
My bluff-
literally the feet up on the ottoman staring at the
Clearly,
ceiling.
you could have even fully read one page. Well, this all seems to be in order.
If you ask me about it, I'm like, yeah. It was.
Yes, this all seems to be in order. Yes.
Definitely goes.
So the documents make their way around to the lot of you, and I assume you all
Sign.
put your John Hancock or Jace Hancock.
And he's and,
Nothing you can take
what
from me anymore.
does Volo look like? Is he just like impatient, or is he?
He looks he doesn't look impatient. He looks a little uncomfortable, and you suspect that, given his occasional glance at Silmerhelv, who is like, with almost unblinkingly just sort of watching this procedure, you imagine that Volo's probably a little intimidated by her personality, right? And her position, right?
Just like spotting, like having done this exact science before. Like, does anything pop? Like, yeah, like does anything pop out? Like, blah blah blah. Watch out for the troll beneath, the building. Like, is there anything like any gotcha statements that are?
Do we have to bring this building up to code now?
I would say give me a investigation check. You're doing a scrutinizing of the
22.
22. Very good. So, being a little bit more familiar with legalese than our friend Temperance, you make your way through the document, and for the most part, it appears to be standard issue sort of legal coverings of you are now the owners of the estate, you assume responsibility for blah blah blah. In the event of the estate's destruction, either magical or mundane, you will be solely responsible for the replacement and or upkeep of blah blah blah. It all makes sense so far. However, there is a subsection on the second page that does describe that now that this party, which are the 5 of you, are now owners of the Trollskull Alley, neither the city nor Volo is responsible for any, quote, supernatural endangerments that will result by way of owning the Trollskull Alley manor and using it on a regular basis. Sort of keeping them free from possible suits or courtly activities.
We were informed. We were previously informed.
But now we are legally informed.
Yep.
By the way, just to let you all know,
of the occupants of said residence.
to let you all know, we're responsible for the ghost. I thought I'd let you all know. In case
Responsible
I saw that too.
for the ghost?
not for its well-being, but any misdeeds it may do, either on us or anybody else.
Has it done misdeeds in the past?
Judging from what Volo told you, admittedly briefly, left out a lot of detail the other day, the ghost was a previous owner of the tavern and so far had just been sort of... Now, Volo hadn't observed any sort of activity himself, but he'd heard that it had been troublesome, was his exact word.
So,
Well, we can always work towards banishing it and sending it on its way.
that's fair. That's the only thing that sticks out. All right.
I saw that too.
That's a bluff check.
No one believes you.
You recall Rhys specifically that he said that Lif, the name of the ghost or the previous owner, was quite possessive. And I apologize for the pun, but not malicious.
Right.
It seemed like he just missed the place, his old job, and was kind of was keeping the manor pretty close to his chest because it was previously his town.
You can 10 bar as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So you pull the documents in, and Magistrate Silmerhelm does a very quick scan. Left, right, left, right, left, right, pull. Left, right, left, right, pull. Left, right, left, right, pull. She takes that, sets it off to the side, retrieves a what looks like a hot wax container and a seal, and then gestures at Volo and gives him a kind of hand gesture. And Volo for a minute is distracted absent-mindedly.
Stand up.
Oh, yes, right. And he undoes his scroll case, and then with a small tied ribbon with the deed in hand, sort of hands it out to you and is sort of, this is yours now. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Primanti. Now, with this and Magistrate Silmerhelm's observations, the deed is done. What I did there. Now, I hope you will all be happy with the manor, and if you have any more questions about it, I don't know very much. So. Thank you for your time, Magistrate, and she's already back to work. Good. Good morning. Let's head on out, shall we? Of course. The lot of you make your way back outside the courthouse, and now you're on the marble steps outside again. Well, it's been a pleasure, gentlemen, ladies, but I must attend to other business. My guide to spirits inspectors isn't going to write itself. Lots of research to be done, lots of ink to buy, and so on. I'm just very busy. So, once again, thank you for your help in making sure that my friend Floon and his friend Renair and the good people of Waterdeep feel safe in these troubling times, at least for a moment. Adios, as they say.
Somewhat.
Give him just a little
Dons his cap and makes his way down the street.
He's much more odd than I ever thought.
He's a writer. What were you expecting?
It's true.
Okay, that's a good point, I suppose. Right, well, we got a manor. What do?
Get some loans?
No.
Not.
No,
Or we're going to try to fund it for ourselves?
crowdfunding.
We can.
When was the last time you asked a crowd for money?
I
Let me
do
tell
it a
you,
lot.
they don't pay.
I like the
very
idea.
well.
I do it a
of
lot,
literal
actually.
crowdfunding. Can I have a gold? I'm doing some. Can I have? Thank you. Can I have a gold?
We can do some pricing out, see what's good cost to spruce up the place. I suggest we also figure out what's the deal with our spectral housemate.
And I suppose some of us should actually look for a paying job.
Let's do.
Oh, you don't have one of those?
At least, you know, lots of income, cash now, moolah,
yes.
investment.
Cash.
I work on contract.
It's my money.
Some people have a 9 to 5. Some people have contract work.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Some people are bums.
Some people are professional bums. Yep.
That may or may not be me.
Haven't decided yet. You're still trying to try out careers. See what you really like.
All right. Well, all right. Were we given multiple copies of that? Is there only one of that going around?
The map. Yeah,
I
there should
had
be
one of
more than one.
Yeah.
People should
Everyone
have
should.
that.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm pretty sure I made copies for everybody, but
Yeah.
I don't recall.
We'll see.
If not
yep, we're done.
most. Cool.
Oh, same again. Right. Nice.
Very good. Signet.
Sick, nice.
Sick. Everybody's name on different.
So you have a general layout of the manor. And because the tour was, that Vola took you on, was kind of, it wasn't a whirlwind tour, but it was a brisk tour. Not a lot of time to like really soak in the detailed condition of the place. If at any point you want to take a sort of a full assessment of the place and what it needs, with the fixing and like getting a very rough idea of what those fixes might cost, you can always do that.
Yeah, that's.
However,
do
in
you
terms
know
of
like an inspector?
I know about everybody. Well, I should say, I know people who do that around here. So.
most of you, since you're residents of Waterdeep, know that you're probably, given that you are new owners, given that it was a public showing of the, well, people saw you going in, led by Volo, and like, there's an assumption there that manor is finally going to change hands. You will probably be contacted fairly soon by representatives of various guilds who will negotiate with you about, taking care of various issues and upgrades in the manor, and so they will be able to give you a proper price range for that. Now you can always try to do it yourself, or try to hire out people that are not members of the guild, but the guild doesn't like that, and so they will be unhappy with it.
Well, I'm going to bring some of my items to the place. I don't know if any of you are planning to live there, or at least stay there while overseeing some of the fixing up of it.
I'll grab one of the rooms at third floor.
I know.
Isn't that kind of a shithole right now?
Cheaper than having an inn, though.
Yes.
A lot.
It's ours. So, it's nice not to pay rent.
Third floor does sound pretty good. Were you eyeing the one with the turret or the larger one?
Probably the turret, but if you want it.
I figured,
I don't know,
because
that
when people
master
get there,
bath looks pretty nice.
I figured
I know,
as soon as
liking
people
private
were
bath,
to,
too.
I always was under the assumption that when people get around to it, they go there and just kind of just claim a spot. So
That's what we're doing right now.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm off to go and collect some stuff. I'll see you guys all there a little bit, and hopefully we'll go talk to some guilds. Yeah.
Sounds wonderful.
Excellent.
I'll leave that to you as
Wonderful.
long as you promise not to cast charm magic on them.
I would like to preface, I wasn't left with very many options.
Well, you actually
Yeah.
were.
Yes. Oh.
We were, now,
Mistakes were made.
yeah, showing up.
We all made mistakes.
Showing up in some person's basement as a band of people who probably, some of us had blood on us.
Literally,
Mild,
figuratively.
Yeah.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
And we was dragging out, two corpses?
Yeah.
There were a number.
More than a non-standard number of corpses. Yes.
More than socially acceptable.
It would have been very difficult to massage that out, but it's all right. It was all.
By the
it was
way,
all
before
fun.
we get too far into the session, let's roll for fortune. So if you want to make any important rolls, you've got that. Now that we've got the bureaucracy out of the way.
It's been bad today.
16.
16 for
Wonder where we
19.
fixed it.
Lance.
5.
5.
I've been rolling under 10 today.
19.
19.
13.
13.
I
Still
passed it
good.
on.
19.
19.
Dang.
I'm the one holding us back, guys.
No, that's
As
horrible for
usual.
us. We got all the good fortune
All this
now.
right with the world.
That's gonna be bad.
Very good.
And this party's propensity to
The
to
best
blow
it's ever
through-
been for you,
Yeah.
and also possibly the worst.
I think I'm going to go hit up the market, look for just some very standard household stuff, some brooms.
The market in Castle Ward. Are you going to head to the North Ward, or where are you? Well, I mean, there is the market if you want to. It's between the Castle Ward and the North Ward. Yeah. Yeah, if you go down Bazaar Street and take a left inside, you'll get to or Trader's Way, which is the obvious sort of place. You can head to the market. That's the largest sort of open space in the city with all the various, huts and huts is not the right word, like stands and various
Shacks.
places that you can, they're selling
Shanties.
all manner of stuff, food, clothing items, gems, whatever you might need.
Yeah, just basically going to get some cleanup supplies.
By
So-
cleanup supplies, you mean
Brooms.
literal cleanup.
So-
okay, you don't mean like
Yeah.
cleanup supplies.
You gotta clean up.
Like,
No.
you know,
Legitimately,
plastic
time to clean
plastic
up.
tubs and like
Yeah,
sulfuric
buckets.
acid.
That's a line.
Yeah,
Why?
Like a
Bathtubs.
rune of prestidigitation works for like so many hours.
I mean, that would be awesome if it's available, but I don't know. I think I'd be looking more so for like physical manual labor approaches to things.
Need someone to help you carry supplies?
Appreciate the offer. I don't think I will, but you're welcome to come along.
Okay, so Nora is going to head to the market.
Okay, before you
Capital
go,
T.
I drop you a gold and say, pick me up some too.
Some what?
Cleanup supplies.
Wink.
Very well.
The look of the look of this
Who exactly is the criminal here?
I mean, potentially everyone.
That one. The one who went to jail.
He's not convicted though. He's
I'm mostly above board.
It's that GIF of Nathan Fillion where he's
Yep.
okay. So you're going to head to the market to pick up some cleaning supplies. What about the rest of you? Are you? What's your business today? It's about 11 o'clock
tagging?
now, so I mean we're almost at high
everything.
sun.
Just
I go to
like
I go
it's
to
just,
my
gotta hide my
previous
secret cards so I
place of
can
residence plus
grab them
also
when I need them later.
makeshift office
Yeah.
For scrying.
and grab things.
10 years
Yeah,
now.
these are my servant and also my like my unseen servant and
Right.
also my grabbing my imp.
Sounds good.
He hangs out there doing all the bureaucratic work.
Everybody else?
You have an
Tom?
unseen
You got
servant?
anything?
I'm going to.
I
get
picked
in
it up
contact
just
with
for
them.
this.
Okay, we'll get you in a second.
As you should.
Lance?
I think
Tagging
it's
along.
awfully
You're going with
useless
Nora?
on a lot of
Okay.
candidates, but I think
Let's
this
hang
one
out
adds
at
a
the
lot of
manor.
flavor.
Okay, so you're going to go ahead and come to the man.
Sure.
All right, very good. Okay, so let's take care of the little business first. Nora, you come to a sort of a temporary cart being operated by a short, overweight gentleman. He introduces himself as Haney.
Mr. Haney?
Yes, Haney says that he's running a cart that looks like it provides basic supplies for running a store or restaurant. The kind of cleaning goods, cooking tools, that sort of thing. And he says that he's able to sell you like just everything you might need to do a basic clean of a place. Of your, what he describes as a standard-sized building for 2 gold pieces.
Well, I'd like to inspect the goods, but that sounds like a wonderful price.
Yeah, he gestures for you to please. Go and buy
Gives
the
you a
things.
mop.
Yeah.
Have you seen this one? It's the new 500 series. Yeah, I give it a just kind of like quick look over, try to determine fair market price.
Get a Roomba.
Okay, give me.
That's
a,
the unseen servant, right? Say, just
So
like-
if you just want to, so you're trying to get like, you're trying to determine whether or not you're being ripped off.
yes,
Okay,
prevent getting fleeced.
that sounds like to me an intelligence check. But,
Cool. Or an insight.
Inside?
well, no, because you're not. You can't insight inanimate objects.
Yes.
You can insight people. But it seemed like you, Nora, were going to read the objects and not the person.
What was,
Yep.
wasn't appraise used to be a skill?
Yeah, it used to be under intelligence. Just a 5.
A 5.
Yep.
Well,
What a mop!
So you're looking at this thing and like,
Most honest mop I've
It's-
ever seen.
it's a stick,
It's got bristles.
stuff at the end.
Straw.
Looks good.
Looks, checks out. Here's a bucket. Awesome. Like it looks. It's. I mean, you don't have any like you don't go around doing this sort of Kelly Blue Book for water tea cleaning supplies. So like, it looks decent to you.
I'm usually looking to like move smaller, higher value
Higher value
items.
stuff. Yeah, you're not dealing with like.
I just
buckets.
transport them.
Yeah. So it looks fine to you. I mean, it looks like everything you might need to do a basic cleaning. You realize that
A couple pounds of soap.
I mean this stuff is not quite a dime a dozen, but it's there's plenty of this stuff, and that he seems more than willing to give you however much you need to take care.
Well, that sounds like a good price. Sure, I'll take you up on the offer.
Okay, he takes his 2 gold and gives you a handshake and hands you mops and brooms and buckets and soaps and all manner of things that you're able to carry and that will do a decent job of cleaning a place up. At the very least, the bottom floor. Given the Manor's sort of size. Okay.
Hand some of it off to
Right,
Temperance.
just like buckets of soap.
Literal buckets of soap.
Well, hopefully the soap isn't already in there.
No, I'm thinking
Slosh
it's like
it.
Yeah, just
I'm
slosh
thinking
it.
it's like the lye kind of like. Really
Okay, all right,
hard.
that's fine. Yeah, I thought you were talking about like just soapy ass
Yes,
water.
buckets.
It's just like, I made it this morning. It's all fresh.
Fresh suds.
Anything else you want to take care of at
Great.
the market before you leave? You know that you can find just about anything here beyond sort of high-end magical items, like high-end apothecarial stuff.
What was the state of the bar?
You mean physically?
Physically, were there glasses, mugs?
You saw that there were a handful. There was like 2 or 3 sort of shot glass sized containers. There was a mug or 2 that the design to sort of carry like a proper pint of beer, but
Stein.
they were in kind of rough condition. One of them had chipping on the handle. The other ones that look some sort of hairline cracks in the glass. You don't have nearly enough to make the bar like serviceable
should
for
be.
a full
Yeah.
full crowd. Right. You also know that. You also remember that during the tour that the casks of wine that were still there had basically turned to vinegar at that point, and that any of
Sell them.
there were 2 or 3 bottles of proper spirits left of like whiskey and bourbon and that sort of thing, but and they've obviously gotten better with age, but that's not enough to fully stock the bar, so you would need to pick up quite a few replacement spirits.
Should we get like samples for glasses, or do you think
If
the
we-
guild
Anybody
will
else realize there's only
take care
4
of that?
bedrooms in this place?
if we price them out to like a carpenter?
Well, I mean, some of you live in the city, so you already have homes.
Yeah, but some of us have expensive
Think of it
tastes.
as think of it like a summer home.
Yeah. Some of us
I mean,
have
somebody could always live in the basement. Just got to clear the ale cellar up a little bit, or maybe the wine cellar. I think gonna look at replacing like mugs. Just keep it kind of standard. Look for pewter or maybe even like wood.
Okay, so some basic mugs, nothing fancy, just
Nothing fancy, nothing you'd want to like drink
Something
wine
I
out
was
of.
doing
it.
some accounting,
Yeah.
like for what we made to update, just like the money on my person. I know, like some of the stuff I handed out due to like bribing people or what have you. But were we given any like actual monetary rewards so far?
No.
So we're only working on basically what we've had. Besides,
Well, we got the 10 gold pieces.
yeah. Okay, so beyond that though,
Up
we
front.
are
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
okay. Never mind. Okay, sounds good.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
should be looking around like 25 gold a person, probably a bit lower.
Yeah, I think I have.
I think is about right. Yeah, 20 there.
Uh,
It depends on what all you bought at character creation,
Oh, right.
and
Yeah.
also if you bought 10 gold worth of rope. That makes sense.
I still have 19.
Mm-hmm. You're doing good. Good bit of cash.
So you make your way across a couple of different stalls and carts. You see that a handful of them are you sort of avoid these sort of artisanal, bespoke sort of steins and glasses and so on, and just find enough mugs and various sort of drinking receptacles that will restock the bar. You're looking at about 2 gold for like the whole lot of them.
Sure.
But there are so many containers, so many cups and so on, that in addition to the cleaning supplies, you're not exactly sure how you're going to transport this stuff.
Do we need like a cart, or would they drop it off? Do you think they would drop it off with With as many mugs as we're buying?
I mean, we could look to just buy a barrel.
Now, you do remember that Haney had a sort of a small wheel cart offered, a single wheel and kind of a small box with 2 handles, right, that could conceivably carry all that stuff, but you'd have to go back to him and buy this as well. And so. But if you just carry it whole, just out of hand with your cleaning supplies, you risk breaking some of them or losing some of them.
Getting bumped into.
Yes.
I mean, the handcart wouldn't be a bad idea.
Make it easier.
Do you want to go grab that? I'll hold on to everything we've got here.
Sure. I'll run back.
So you head back to Haney, and he's got that off to the side. He says it's just a gold piece, and you can take the whole thing. Like it's not a rental. You can just have it.
Oh, thank you kindly.
Give that man a high five.
He doesn't. Nobody high fives him for it.
I go. With the week.
Like Super Mario Party. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so he gladly sells you that hand cart, and you begin to take your cleaning supplies and glasses and everything and fill it up enough so that you can all three, with the cart, the 2 of you carry this back to the manor. Cut to our friend Raven here. So you're doing a sort of a survey of your contacts, trying to get out, see if there's work on the horizon, right? Okay, where are you headed to first? Now, I know you have Contessa, your elven contact, who you've used before.
Yeah, but that's mainly for information.
Right.
On the world. Not normally a person I go to for jobs.
Of course, yeah. So are you headed to a specific person, or are you looking at various notice boards throughout the city? You're looking for wanted posters?
Yeah, I think I'm doing that.
Okay, give me just a perception check, just a basic perception check.
Do we have names? I haven't gotten everyone's names.
Hold on. Let me just share the beauty of this.
8.
All right.
It's a minimum for success in some cases.
It was almost a 22.
Well, 2. All right.
Plenty of chips.
That is true. There's plenty of good.
Yeah, I think I'll do
You
that.
want it? Okay. Yeah.
Give it another shot.
God damn it.
7.
6.
Hey.
Well, you can take your first roll, of course.
So fortune is going to be the only thing I roll good on.
Oh yeah, we should be pretty well stocked. Flask or tankard, 2 copper pieces.
No, like the soap was also 2 copper.
Yeah.
And we're also getting tools.
Yeah. Brooms, brushes, scrubbers.
Buckets 5 CP.
Need to pool our money and just get a single vial of acid.
Yeah, that's for like the heavy duty. You have to. We dilute it.
Well, I mean,
Maybe.
one of the bathrooms has to be a mess.
Yes.
It's like an unwritten rule when you go into a fixer-upper.
Poltergeist destroyed the toilet.
Raven, you are walking through the streets
Let's
of
make some
Waterdeep,
bleach,
taking
guys.
a look at the various notice boards. You
right.
see a lot of postings about sort of mundane job offers, servant wanted, we need more workers down at the docks to move shipments to and from ships, a clerk needed for an apothecary, etc., etc. It doesn't look like there's a lot in terms of either security or bounty hunting work that you can see. However, as you are making your way,
barrels would be.
A little pricey. But we got a couple of them, right? Already, theoretically, in the basement.
Snake clean.
as you are making your way through the north
And you're
ward,
right. With the vinegar, we could use that for basic cleaning too. So.
down Copper Street, You find that
This is going to smell like hell for a while, but
this egregious, pungent, horrifying smell is striking your nostrils. People are moving by. It's difficult to sort of pinpoint it, but this sharp, tangy, acrid smell has hit your nostrils. And, yeah, thank you. And
tangy.
and you realize that it seems like it's coming from somewhere nearby. The rest of the city folk don't seem to mind it. They've either written it off or they can't smell it.
Okay, does it smell like blood?
Rotted meat. Sulfur.
Well, being a sort of an urban bounty hunter, I mean, I assume that given your background, you would know, what wounds and blood and everything smell like. It smells to you like rotting meat.
All right. Do I need to make a roll to find this?
Just follow your nose.
Wherever it goes. No, I mean, you're spending enough time. You're not in a hurry, so you're sniffing it out. You're making your way through the crowd. You turn right into a small alleyway between two larger brick buildings, and you see that the place is littered with some discarded papers, some trash. There's a sort of a half-eaten apple against the right-hand side wall, and there are a handful of crates and barrels in this alleyway, and the smell seems to be coming from somewhere in this alley.
All right, I go into the alley.
Okay. You continue to sniff out, and you realize that it's coming from what looks like a large barrel from a fishery, at least judging by the illustration and the lettering on the side. And you realize that the top of that barrel, the ceiling portion, is slightly adjacent, and there's clearly like this sort of wafting rotted meat stench coming from it.
All right, go over to the barrel, try to look in it.
Okay. As you pull away the top of the barrel, the stench hits you full on. It is overwhelming. It sort of turns your stomach a little bit because you see inside that there is what looks like the corpse of a young male dwarf.
Okay.
Well,
I'm not going to carry the barrel through the city because that's probably
That would be a bad thing, yes.
But I do go look for a guard.
Anybody lose this dead dwarf? Okay.
Guards, go on.
So you make your way back out to the city streets. Are you calling, or are you just kind of looking around trying to get someone discreetly? Or?
No, I'm actually calling for a guard.
Okay. Guard! Sure enough, you see a gentleman in a city watch uniform make his way down from the south end of the street. What can I do for you, miss?
I found a dead body in this alley.
He gives you kind of a quick look. You'll come with me, miss?
Yes, go ahead.
The two of you make your way.
Sounds like an ambush.
In the alley. You show the officer
I mean,
this
killing a dwarf even a
the
crime.
body of this young male dwarf. No, it is not. And he takes a kind of a good look at it, goes inside, tries not to touch, uses his club to sort of move the body around, trying to get a better look inside.
time-honored tradition.
I see. And what were the circumstances of you discovering this, miss?
Well, I smelled something bad. It kind of smelled like blood. And I went to check it out, and this is what I found.
I see. If I could have your name, miss?
It's Brabin Duskstar.
Duskstar. And do you have a residence in the city?
Yes, I'm currently staying at Crow Skull Manor.
You're joking.
No, unfortunately, we got paid with that place.
My condolences.
Yes.
No. Leans over and takes another look at the body of the dwarf. Well, naturally, we'll have to keep your name and your information on file, just in case the investigation requires your observations, you're making a statement.
Of course.
But we'll take care of it from here. Thank you, miss.
Yes. Salute and leave.
All right. So, Tom, you have headed back into the North Ward. You've made your way to Troll Skull Alley. You've gone down Serdun Street to head into the alley, the alley itself. And you realize that where you would normally come in, the sort of northern entrance, you see that area appears to be blocked off at the moment.
Yes.
You see what looks like a... just a minute. You see what looks like a caravan? It looks like a carriage and two enclosed wagons, which are sort of parked along the northern entrance in the alley, effectively blocking that entire passage. You can see that from the first carriage, two cloaked figures are emerging, based on their builds and what you can tell if there's the brief looks at their faces. It appears to be a man and a woman, humans, both dressed in these sort of dark cloaks with drab gray breeches and tunics. The male appears to be wearing the hood of his cloak up over his head, but you see the female human quickly has got her hood sort of resting around her collarbone, and she's wearing a wide-brimmed, pointed black hat with a silver buckle.
Okay.
So the two of them have made their way out of the carriage, and you hear them now issuing some curt orders to the occupants of the wagons. You see the first wagon, there are two humans dressed in what look like heavy gray cloaks. Their cloaks are full over, they're sort of obscuring their features. They exit the wagon, and the two of them make their way back and begin moving a large crate from the wagon into Troll Skull Alley. The crate is about 7 feet long, 3 feet wide, 4 feet deep, so enough for two people to carry. And you see that 4 other hired hands hop out of the rear wagon and begin unloading what looks like luggage, boxes, art objects, or the occasional painting or sculpture, and all of that stuff is beginning to trickle its way inside Troll Skull Alley.
Okay. So I'll walk up.
Okay. As you close in, give me a perception check, Tom.
Once more, please.
That is 12.
12. You realize that you draw closer. You're taking a look at this business that's going on. You see that just as you're making your way closer, and the crate that they were carrying, the 7-foot-long crate that the two humanoids with the rough wool cloaks were carrying in, just before they disappear into the alley, you see that there's something falling out of the crate, like trickling from the crate. It looks like it's maybe dirt, soil, some kind of dark silt or something like that.
Like maybe soil from their homeland?
Maybe. It certainly looks dark enough that, like, either that's, at a stretch, it's coffee. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's that kind of consistency.
But it's not like sand or anything. It's a lot more
It's clearly
rich.
a dark, rich sort of color, yeah.
Okay.
It's just
Surprise, we're returning to Ravenloft.
I want to pick up some silver weapons while you're at it.
As the book goes to
what's
Curse
the
of
vintage?
Strahd.
Curse of God.
Surprise!
Surprise, motherfucker! Yeah.
Hopefully it's not sunrise.
We've been bamboozled again.
Well, I'll walk up. I'll walk right up to the crate and see if I can figure out what's.
Go to the current sunrise.
So you see that the crate is rapidly moving away from you because the two humanoid figures they've got the crate and they are moving it back towards the sort of western side of the alley towards.
So what came out of it? Did it hit the ground, or is it still on the crate?
There's a little bit sort of dusting the.
So
the
I'll
street.
go check that out then.
Okay. Yeah. It looks like the two are. It looks like the two are heading towards, are bringing that, and the rest of the people are bringing the various pieces of luggage and objets d'art and so on, making their way towards a building on the western side. It looks like an old priory.
Of course.
Priory?
A priory.
Richard Pryor's house.
Being Richard Pryor's house. Now, obviously, Richard Pryor doesn't live there. The name changes, obviously. But a priory, if I'm remembering correctly, being a sort of like monastery-looking building, basically. And they're heading towards that priory on the west end of this alleyway. So you want to take a look at the material.
Whatever came out, yeah.
Yeah, okay, give me an investigation check, please.
Investigation.
Nice.
23.
He's
That's
so
a
good at
natural
investigating.
23. Okay,
Which is a
very
20 on the die.
Very good. Okay. So you take a scoop of this in your hand. You move it through. You're getting the texture, the feeling. It's still slightly moist. It's still got some kind of freshness to it. And you realize that that's soil. Yeah, that is definitely soil from the ground. You know, like that.
Right.
That there's no mistaking that. It has that kind of vaguely peaty sort of smell. But you realize that, and you got a 23.
Yep.
This is not soil from around here. You've been in Waterdeep long enough. You've been in the outskirts. Like,
There's
no, this
something
is from somewhere else. This is from somewhere foreign.
Dirty foreigners.
Like
It's dirt.
Barovian, perhaps.
As you're examining the soil, you hear a, and you see off to the left. There's two people carrying what looks like a large armoire next to you. Do you mind moving?
Stand up and make a grand flourishing bow.
Fuck off. Then moving away, and they are bringing that armoire back towards the priory, and they continue to do this. Okay.
Are they speaking with any kind of accent that I would recognize?
They, for the most part, they're not speaking at all. They are just they're dutifully following the orders of
So the
two
movers,
from
the movers are local.
At least the one that spoke to you seemed
Right.
like he had a Waterdavian accent.
Okay.
Yeah. The others they haven't spoken. They've just been so dutifully attending to the duties that the two figures from the carriage were telling you. Now the two figures from the carriage did have what sounded like, based on what they told the workers and what you were able to overhear, what you'd call a foreign accent. Something. There's really no way for me to explain this like in universe. They sounded Slavic.
Is it an accent that I can place?
You could give me an intelligence or a history check if you want to do that.
Those Eastern European D&D.
17.
17. You know that you have. You've never heard this accent before, at least on the Sword Coast. This is not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are the people from the carriage, are they still in the alleyway?
They appear to be talking amongst
They're from-
themselves. Occasionally,
from
they will
Oh,
give some
yeah,
kind of
that's
curt instruction to one of the hired hands to make sure don't carry it this way. Make sure that you don't drop that, etc., etc. But they are congregating around the carriage at the moment, waiting for the workers to.
I'll approach them.
The grand invasion begins.
Okay. So, What do you say? Are you someplace sort of walking?
I'll introduce myself. I'll say I'm one of the new owners of
Troll Skull Manor.
Troll Skull Manor, and wanted to welcome you to the neighborhood. We'll be neighbors.
Where is that in this?
So,
In the northward, right?
as you're approaching, you hear the male figure. He actually turns to one of the cloaked figures, and he shouts at the fellow. Remind you that you're being paid a handsome sum to move them with alacrity and care. Oh, yes, sir.
So I'll do my intro.
Good afternoon. Greetings. I am Laszlo Lukesh, the humble servant and seneschal of Lady Bogescu, the mistress of our new property here in Troll Skull Alley. I understand you are also a property owner as well, you said?
Absolutely.
How may I be of service to you?
Oh, I just wanted to introduce myself since we'll be neighbors.
Of course. I am glad to have met you.
I can't quite place your accent. Where is it that you're from?
We have travelled from a distant land, well beyond this old coast. Most recently we passed through the misty forest by way of Daggerford, which is where our lady acquired this interesting property. Yes. We are not from this area of the country.
And what brings you here?
Well, as my lady has acquired this property, and she found that it would be very suitable for her to spend her days in a cosmopolitan city like Waterdeep.
Oh, so no business interests. It's just you're relocating.
Not to my knowledge, but of course the lady has her own interests
Of course.
and pursuits.
Well, it's very nice to meet you. If there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. Hopefully we'll have our business open soon.
That was very kind of you, Mr. Arnum, was it?
Yes.
Hopefully, don't keep them up at night.
Well, I hope that you will.
Not during the day.
I appreciate your offer, and I hope you will enjoy the company.
It's a good
my lady
relationship.
and,
They can,
our staff.
stay up at night.
when
and
she
make
fully
all the
moves
noise,
in.
no
to the
noise
prairie.
complaints.
So the whole time I'm talking, I'm just looking at anything that I can, looking for any detail that would tell me anything.
Okay.
From or
Give me a perception check. About that. Doing a quick scan.
17.
17. Okay. So, after he finishes his business, Laszlo excuses himself. He and the woman then make their way down the alley, heading closer toward the priory. You see that the carriage has a sort of. The carriage is finely furnished inside. It's clearly the carriage of a noble woman, a well-to-do figure. There are actually small lanterns sort of built in on sort of brass fittings to the front of the carriage. Fine draft horses attached to the carriage. Inside you can see some what look like sort of velvet pin-cushion sort of style linings, and it definitely looks like that it matches the story that Laszlo gave you. This is not from around here. You haven't seen anything in this particular style, which has got a kind of dare I say gothic sort of aesthetic.
Like gargoyles leaning off of the carriage.
Yeah. You haven't seen anything like this in Faerun in all your travels.
So I didn't buy locally when.
You also notice. I'm sorry. What was your check again?
17.
17. You also notice as the two figures who were moving the crate earlier, that the soil seems to have seeped from, they return and make their way, continuing to pull items out. And you actually catch a glimpse of one of their faces underneath the heavy sort of woolen cloaks, and you see what looks like. You're not exactly sure if it was a trick of the light or you actually saw it, but there seemed to be a sort of a rough, almost scaly sort of patch of skin from the bottom of the cheek up to close to where the eye starts, across that man's right side of his face, and it had the appearance of like snake skin. It wasn't like, oh, you're a fisherman, you have eczema, or you have a rough life. Like that looked like snake skin to you,
But not like lizard folk, kind of.
but not like lizard folk. Yes.
Curious.
Just
Very
like a
curious.
patch.
I like
Yeah.
where this is going. This is fun.
We have interesting neighbors.
That's
Can
cool.
I get a look inside the priory at all without being too obvious about it?
You would have to make a pretty good stealth check, seeing as there's lots of people moving in and out. You can get a good look at the exterior, yeah, but the interior you'd have to stealth your way in. Yeah.
No, I don't want to go in. I just want to like walk by the door. I mean, they're moving things in, right?
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, you can just sort of walk over to the other side of the street there and just kind of like, oh yeah, look at that place, yeah. So you see that the inside of the priory,
Just bake 'em a pie.
the inside of the priory.
Just lots of garlic. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you allergic?
Do you not like wooden steak pie?
Are you allergic? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Let me just throw this in this running water. I'll get rid of it right away.
There's a sort of a brick gatehouse, a small brick gatehouse. It's got a wrought iron gate hanging open that people are moving their way to get into the priory proper. It looks like a couple of the servants are just sort of, they're standing around. They're moving furniture in very slowly. The grass in the courtyard, you see it's about probably ankle deep. It looks like there hasn't been a groundskeeper there for a while. What little you can see through the crack in the door into sort of the main lobby area, you see what looks like old stone, stained glass, cobwebs, and everything like that. It looks like the place has been abandoned for some time.
It's just us and the vampires revamping the neighborhood,
It'd be nice.
gentrifying,
Revamping.
revamping. Yeah.
I mean, I heard it. I didn't know.
Take 2 points of damage.
It was his!
I didn't know if Tom had intended that.
That should
Take
be,
2 points of strain.
Only when you make the puns are they allowed.
Yes, agreed.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, that's my prerogative as a DM. Too.
Nobody wants to hear about your story.
Nobody wants to hear about your puns. Only my puns.
Come on, man.
Okay, so
Unconsensual punning.
so you, Al-Cid, you're able to, as a matter of course, go back to your place, grab the things you might need with the help of your unseen servant, and I assume you were heading back to Trollskull Manor.
Yes.
Dip like one of the things that
kinda
slip in, like holy
Pop
water.
in and like walk in and like
A little rough.
alright. Start grabbing
Make
some
me a
fresh
wash
Vex. And I see like some rustling
There's a
noises
wash
around
station
as I
for
like
you.
Vex, get out here. And it's like my little imp who is also nicely dressed too.
Sure.
As a cute gesture, but he handles a lot of like
Dressed up like a little monkey.
yeah. He's like
Organ grinder monkey.
Does he have like?
no,
The fez.
no, they just have a that's a
I'm
little
thinking like a
jacket.
little, like Abu.
It's like, all right, Vex, we're getting out of this dump.
We're going back to our dump.
We're going to a new dump.
He scampers after you and climbs into one of the pockets that you have, the bags.
It's sort of like even the shoulder doesn't
Yeah.
even happen.
And so you head back to Trollskull. Great. So, since you were waylaid, Raven, by the discovery of a dead body in a barrel, as one would
That's one.
be, do you after that continue to search for contract work, or do you head back to Trollskull Manor, or do something else?
What time of day is it?
By this time, it's a little after high sun. It's about 1 o'clock.
All right. Can we say I got a friendly guard that sometimes throws me work?
I think that's fair. Yeah.
All right. So I want to check with him before I head back.
I tell you what. Why don't you spend 1 point of fortune, and I'll give you that guy, and he will be in the area, ready to tell you whatever you need.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
Okay, that sounds fair. All right.
And this is how it all disappears. One by one.
Yeah, we get it all done, and then he like turns over for it. And it's like,
Careful.
you're surrounded.
This is how your
That's right,
fortunes
my
take.
Imperials.
Well, we should have thought about that.
I was thinking that
Think about it.
the other day when
Thinking wasn't
Nora
our
died.
strong suit in that campaign.
the way that the White Wolf game. I'm like,
You just put lots of garlic up
oh
on
yeah,
the
I can
place.
get through the snow. Confidence is slow.
Little do we know, it's just like a White Wolf game where it's just none of those
Like,
none of those tropes actually are real.
was
It's just
great.
like you insult me.
They're just emo kids.
winter driver.
Okay, so you continue to sort of wander the North Ward. You are heading down. You were on Copper Street previously. You turn on Solmore and make your way onto Hassantir's Street, which is a relatively small street. That you know that your friend on the City Watch, Belia Shancy, makes her usual rounds on. That's part of her regular beat.
Can you spell that?
Yes, BELIA SHANCEY. Belia Shancy.
Okay.
And sure enough, as you turn down Hassantir's Street, don't look at that side.
Cheater.
Oh no, you do look at that side. Don't look at the other side.
Don't show us
Yeah,
that.
Don't
show
show
us
that side.
Damn it, man!
Not that one. That one. Not there. There. So you turn down Hassantir Street and you see that same half-elven figure
What street were we on?
standing at the end of the street.
Thought it was Troll
Straight
Skull.
blonde hair, blue
Troll
eyes,
Skull,
wearing the
Troll March,
traditional sort of city
Troll
watch
Skull Avenue
kind of
or
policeman's
Troll Skull
cap.
Drive, I think.
It seems like at the moment she is moving the
Trollkill?
traffic of the nearby street through and around what looks like a cart that one of the wheels has splintered and broken off, and it looks like the poor sap is trying to attend to that business, trying either to transfer the stuff out or going to find a replacement wheel or something like that. Essentially, it's blocking a lot of traffic, and she's acting as a kind of traffic cop at the moment.
I go over to her and say, Delia, seems like you got a tough one today.
Ah, Raven, how are you?
Not too bad. Business is a little slow.
Tell me about it. Is there any ETA on this, my friend? Do you have a replacement wheel or a friend or anything? I'm afraid I can't stay here the entire time. I'm sorry, Raven. What is it that you wanted?
You've always had some things that you've done before. I was wondering if you had any of those right now.
Who's Cole's race? Troll.
She gives her kind of a knowing look. Right. Give me just a moment. She gives a kind of a look to the gentleman attending to the cart. He, with a kind of a flop sweat on, just kind of gives a look.
Guess I'll die.
And she takes you by the shoulder and then turns you around, and you guys head in the opposite direction down Hassantir Street. Okay, so what sort of work were you looking for? A lot of stuff falls through the cracks in the City Watch, and we get a lot of different types of cases. What are you interested in these days?
Well, you know my skill set. I've fallen into...
What skill set?
I've actually fallen into a group of, let's call them business partners. And,
You don't know the money, do you?
no.
Yet, you mean?
We kind of got roped into a job that paid negatively.
What does that mean?
You ever heard of Pro Skull Manor?
Troll Skull? That place? There used to be it was a tavern, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm co-owner of that now.
Okay.
I'm assuming you heard of Lolo.
Yes, I have.
Don't
picked
ever
up a
work
book.
for him.
I read.
Okay, hold on. So, Volo Thamgera, the author, hired you to do what exactly?
Find a missing person.
So Volo, the author, the famous author, hired you to find a missing person, and in compensation, paid you a shitty old tavern.
Well, what I was supposed to get was 100 dragons.
How high are you right now?
Yeah.
I've told you to get off of that stuff.
I admit, it wasn't my best decision.
I don't even believe what you're telling me. This is ridiculous. Are you writing for the pulps now? What is this? Damn.
Well, I really need the money because I gotta fix up this shit.
Oh no.
Hey. It's not
give
gonna be
me a
problem.
job.
Like, I'm not trying to give you a hard time. It sounds ridiculous when you lay it out like that. You know what I mean?
Trust me, I know.
Okay. Here's what I got for you. The sooner you can get this taken care of, the sooner I can, let's say, misplace some of the budget for your help.
Okay.
Does that make sense? We had a report the other day. Apparently some crates of vintage Tethrian whiskey have gone missing. 5 crates, to be specific.
Could be good stuff for a grand opening.
It was
That require them to stay missing.
it was on the move from a distillery into a shop in town, and when that cart arrived
St. stock was missing.
at the shop, both the
We could only recover.
shopkeep opened up the crates to find that they were missing.
Okay.
That the whiskey was missing, of course.
Yes.
The crates were empty.
Yes, I get the picture.
Now, obviously, he has contacted the City Watch and asked us to investigate, but with the stuff going on between the Zents and everything, we don't... It's small potatoes for us.
Yeah.
So if you were to take care of that...
Okay, can you give me any more information? You deliver them, that kind of thing?
So there was a... so the writer was a dwarven man named Simus.
Is he a corpse now?
S-Y-M-A-S, male dwarf.
Not enough dwarves pop up in any movie, so you can only assume.
It's Waterdeep. There's a little bit of everything.
The problem is
He was in charge of moving, he was the driver of the cart, and he swears up and down that the crates were not tampered with, that he did not stop between the distillery and the shop. Now, obviously he's lying, but he is maintaining his innocence, and since the City Watch has been rather busy as of late on the streets, we haven't gotten to the aggressive questioning portion of our investigation.
Right.
So. Now, the owner of the shop, you're probably going to go down there. That is there's this gnome fellow. God, what's his name? Arthund Hine. Now, Arthund is the owner of a shop that specializes in, wine, spirits, that sort of thing, and the accoutrements that your average, lady in waiting or well-to-do gentleman will buy to keep their booze in.
Decanters.
Now you can find his shop. Now let's see if I remember correctly. It's going to be in Castle Ward. I think it was on Lamp Street. Yes, I remember. It was on Lamp Street because it was behind the Great Drunkard. He said it was excellent for business, that he could just sort of walk around the block and deliver orders to them as needed. I mean, it was sort of a sweetheart deal between the two of them.
Sounds like we'll get like
What was the name of the tavern again?
The tavern that it's behind? Yes.
Yeah.
The Great Drunkard.
decanter.
Pretty straightforward.
Nice.
Okay, well,
Should I
I'll
feel
look
bad?
into
I'm the only
this
person
and
without a laptop.
to my business partners, unfortunately.
Nobody can read their lights
Want a
anyways.
piece of this.
Well, I hope it'll help you. I'm sorry we're a little light on opportunities for you right now, but most of our work's been involved with the Zents and everybody else in town making trouble, and they tend to keep their first party personnel on that. If you know what I mean.
I actually had some dealings with them in
Did
this
you?
missing person case. Yeah.
Huh? Who was missing?
Well, Lord Neverember was kidnapped, along with a man
Daggle? Neverember? Oh, you mean? Oh, no. Okay, I'm sorry. That's stupid of me. Daggle hasn't been seen for ages. You're talking about Renaer.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
And he was also captured with a man named Floon. Should have...
Flume? What kind of fucking name is Flume?
I don't know.
Going on a flume
But
ride?
there was some kind of conflict between the Zents and the Zentarum over these people.
You mean the Zents were fighting themselves?
No, the Zents were fighting the Zentarums.
The Zentarum or the Centaur?
Xanatar.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I know. I mix them up sometimes too.
Yeah.
The Xanathars killed and the Centaur.
Mm-hmm.
And they were involved in this Neverember thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what you were talking about? The thing that Volotham get? I can't believe I'm saying that. That Volotham Gedarn hired you for?
Yeah.
Raven, you live a charmed life.
Managed to bring one of the Xantars in. Gift wrapping as normal, of course.
Of course. I see. Well, I tell you what. I'm supposed to do a leg at the station in the next couple of days. They are doing this thing where they're switching out desk and street people regularly to try to get them to feel the pulse of the city, or it's something from the higher ups. But if I hear anything down at the station about these Zents and this Neverember business, maybe somebody let something slip. Maybe I'll walk by the interrogation room. I'll let you know.
I appreciate it.
Of course.
Alright, now that I've talked to her, I'm gonna head back to Cruel Skull.
Okay.
Back to the manor.
So, Rhys, you see that after about an hour of work, it looks like Trollskull Priory has been fully loaded in with furniture and crates and so on, and the place is
They are fast.
relatively quiet again. And it looks like there's some activity in the house that you can see through the various windows and things like that, as people look like they are putting together furniture and cleaning and so on, preparing the place for being livable again.
We should hire them.
You see,
We can't afford them.
coming down the north entrance and turning into the alley, you see your friends Nora and Temperance carrying with a wheelbarrow full of glasses and various cleaning supplies.
Great.
Al-Cid?
It is worth to note that if after that's all said and done, I want to go talk to like a carpenter's guild or something about just some
Remodeling.
Give me some
Quotes.
quotes about
Yeah.
what's going
Get
to
some
take.
estimates.
Some bids.
Yeah, some like what's going to cost to like at least reduce maybe some of the floors or some of the support and everything.
And everything.
Get a
What about mining out the basement?
Ooh, there's an
Expanding.
interesting idea.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the design, and the basement is like maybe a quarter of the space the manor takes up.
Maybe for support reasons. Who knows?
I mean, you just build some big supports down there, right?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
That's how physics works, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
So you're gonna head. So you want to talk to one of the guildsmen is responsible for like woodworking and that sort of thing, and you want to. What exactly are you doing? Are you getting furniture? Are you repairing the woodwork in the building?
The main the woodwork, but I figured like unsure of what else is in like, I don't know. I can refrain from being meta about it, but like anything that any guild work that needs done in the house, like maybe like get a
to like refurbish.
yeah, to like.
Do we have a termite problem? Do we need to replace anything because it's rotted through?
Right. Well, that's just the woodwork too, right?
Structural,
And I'm talking about like whatever else, like this maybe the stonework or like like just all repair costs in general, like not
Stonework. If only we knew a dwarf.
Yeah.
Well, you know
Got a
that
dead
if you
one.
contact somebody from the Carpenters, Roofers, and Plasterers Guild, that they'll give you a kind of a rough estimate on at least the work that they can do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
As long as they can come to the site itself and, do it a quick once
Right.
over.
So I assume on my way back, just be like, hey, if you can send an appraiser out and like get an idea of like what's going on, and then we can chat more about the pricing.
Sure, the clerk records your name and the
Sure.
address of the place, and then says that they'll send out a representative to do a quick sort of survey later that afternoon.
Sure. Cool. And then head back. Maybe meet that person there or what have you. But
Okay, so you're heading back in
mm-hmm.
down to Troll Skull Alley. You see that Rhys, Nora, and Temperance are already beginning to sort of they're moving glasses in by way of the small hand cart inside the manor, and it looks like they have begun mopping and cleaning sort of the first floor tavern area.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, you see Raven coming down the street from the opposite side.
oh, nice.
Looks like you're all finally converging back on.
Good work, gentlemen.
Aim for the face.
Actually, who else? Who is working on? Is Nora also?
Yep.
All right. Then everybody.
Buddy.
I wasn't sure if you were still somewhere else, or if you've gotten back already. Okay, cool.
Yep.
And you
I'll bring
and Rhys
stuff
across the
back.
street, just like on your way back. Nice. All right. Yeah. Then go in. All right. It looks like everybody's shopping efforts have seemed to come to some fruition, I suppose. I have a few people coming in to come check the place out and see what repairs are going to cost us.
That sounds good.
What did you guys pick up?
Replaced a good number of the tankards, so if we do get any ale or anything drinkable, we'll be able to. And enough cleaning supplies, we should at least be able to get the tap room, pantry, and kitchen done. Maybe one of the bedrooms. We'll see what's left over. Oh, speaking of which, we've made a call on who's getting what.
It's like at this point, like as we're talking, I'm like
we've already met.
Tell me. It's like I'm like starting to like shout as I'm like moving towards the stairs.
Right.
Well,
We've had time, so like our bags are.
Yeah. Well, now mind you, to get to those places, you've got to go out front, around into the back, and take the stairs up to the second,
really?
third, and fourth floor. Yeah.
Is it that jank? There's no way to like go up from the.
There is no tap room to second floor.
I mean, why would you? Would you want patrons to like
Drunkenly stumble up there?
Well, to be fair, I wasn't sure if we were.
Unless
if
it
we
was
were
an
going
inn.
to replenish the bar, but I'm cool with that. That's fine. I mean, it's a good way to.
It's an easy way to make money, that much you know for
Yep.
sure.
So while we're all here, let me tell you about our new neighbors.
We have neighbors?
Yeah.
They just moved in to the Priory.
Well, you know that having been in the alley before, you know there are a couple of buildings, some houses, and also some shops in this Troll Skull Alley area. But these people that Rhys apparently has seen are just newly arrived today.
Curious people.
How so?
No accent that I can place. Yeah, they're dirty foreigners.
Literally
We have
covered
to
in
build
dirt.
a wall in our alley.
I thought
Oh,
I
no.
thought Waterdeep had a wall.
I'm not paying. You're going to have to make them pay for the wall.
They couldn't get they couldn't get fuck, I'm trying to remember the other name of the biggest city in Faerun.
Oh,
Neverwinter?
Neverwinter. Yeah, they couldn't get Neverwinter to pay for it. So.
There's also there's
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. That was would have been my other choice.
Neverwinter's a good choice.
So a lot of you are still in the tap room, or are you heading outside?
I suppose we're in the tap room, like talking now.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
all right, so what's been claimed?
I mean, third floor's
Third
basically been claimed.
Right.
But by you, right? Isn't it
Not the whole floor.
Isn't it 2 bedroom?
I mean, you can stay in the library and study.
Yeah, I don't think we need
Which
a
one did you
library,
take?
do we?
Master.
All right, that's fair.
Al-Cid, make a dex save.
No, like quite literally, something may be thrown at your face right now.
Oh, that's not good.
I'll tell you what.
So you feel a sharp thud and what sounds like the crack of plaster hit the back of your head as you realize that a mug has been hurled at you from behind.
Oh,
Is it one of the new mugs?
No,
Okay.
looks like one of the older mugs. You turn around, you see the fuck. You see the shattered remains of a mug on the floor. Your back of your head is throbbing, and you turn around. It's like, well, unless somebody ran in and threw a mug at me and then left, or one of the people you were talking to literally ran around, threw a mug, and ran back. It looks a little suspicious.
is it happening?
I take a look at my servant, who's I guess he is unseen.
He is unseen.
Yeah. I like
I will unlook at my
Alarak, fight him. Where is he?
You're commanding your unseen servant.
Go fight.
Slap
Go
fight
fight
him. Slap fight the spectre.
So there's a couple of seconds of silence after you deliver this command to your unseen servant. And then you see stools thrown across the room. You see what sounds like the splintering as what looks sounds like heavy force hitting the bar. You see what looks like a handful of mugs that have been stacked up on the bar fall backwards into sort of the bartending well area.
Whoa! What the hell did you do?
A bottle falls off and
They're working
shatters.
it out. They're working it out.
You hear what sounds like very, not soft, but muffled noises, and then everything goes silent.
Who won?
I don't know. Actually, I can't even see him. I
Can't
just
see
tell
if they're
him.
one.
Alec, can you pick up this box? Can I see him?
I
actually need to read the spell.
For the
Should be able to
record,
see 'em.
I was rooting for the poltergeist to win.
That's not a good look.
Right.
You ask your unseen servant to. Well, you asked him to pick up what?
to pick up the box of my stuff.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, like I guess for any of you that whether or not you comment or not, like did like just an imp just hanging out on his shoulder, just like that's like looking very uneasy, and also
give it that,
wearing
like,
the same
sharp-eyed look.
That's also wearing the same like colors I am, like this purple. It's a
Matching.
cute purple vest.
Got the uniform.
An email.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Checks out.
Some shit before.
The yeah, I just
barely.
tell
You wait a couple of seconds and you realize that box isn't getting picked up.
this ghost is it's pretty good.
Maybe it
pretty
hated
good.
the imp.
All of you hear this egregious noise of the sound of what sounds like flesh on glass, very slowly streaking, and you see that the dusty, disrepaired mirror that's on the back of the bar. You see slowly letters being formed in the sort of the dust and the grime of the mirror. Slowly, it spells closing time.
We know the poltergeist name. What's his name?
Lif.
Lif.
L-I-F.
So I'll say Lif. We're working on it. We're going to reopen the place. Give us a break. Don't throw things at us.
We're not patrons.
You know,
Yes, we're owners. We're not the patrons.
before we start cleaning up
Careful
the
with the
bar
O
and
word.
trying to
Well.
open this place, maybe
Rioters,
we should
maybe.
take care of that.
Yeah, we need to. What Raven said.
Do you know a priest, a cleric, maybe a
Priory
paladin?
right down the
Suddenly
street.
you hear a sort of a furious squeaking noise. It seems like the portion where closing time was written has been sort of erased by.
I get like a rag and like
Hold it out.
Just
put it
holding
like put it like by the mirror.
it's dripping.
Yeah, just like drip. And all this.
Then you see towards the bottom where there's still a lot of dust and grime. You see a message slowly written. Show me.
You got the deed.
You got all those glasses too.
Witness it!
Witness!
Witness.
So you unfurl it and you kind of
Yeah.
show it to the room, right? And there's a couple of seconds of silence, and then you hear that same squeak. And in a very small print at the very bottom of the mirror is written the word "fine."
Alright, well.
Maybe you could help with some cleaning. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna go pick out a room.
We got some new
The attic's pretty nice.
That's what I'm picking out.
You hear a knock on the door.
Come in.
Turn and lock.
We're not open yet.
We could.
It's close.
It's close.
Literally just.
We're literally not. We don't have a business, so we can't open. So the door creaks open, and you see walking into the tap room is a laid-back looking halfling gentleman, mutton chops and bushy eyebrows.
Nice.
He is carrying with him a leather satchel. It looks like there's a couple of documents and some stuff stashed inside. He puts a hand through his hair and he says, "Welcome to the neighborhood. How you doing? You folks, the new Troll Skull Manor people? Is that right?
Yep.
Right.
I want to stop by and introduce myself. If you got time, I'm Broxley Fairkettle. I'm duly representative of the Fellowship of the Fellowship of Innkeepers. I thought I was going to be dealing with Volo soon, but apparently he gave up on his little project. So, with you guys, the new owners, I just, wanted to check in, welcome you, see how you were doing. Hey, by the way, have you had a chance to get in contact with the guild reps yet? Because they're gonna want to look at this place and give you some estimates about the repairs and everything.
Yeah, talk to a couple. Maybe not all of them though. He goes, quick rundown.
Yeah. Well, let me see. I got the Cellars and Plumbers Guild. Yeah. The Carpenters, Roofers, and Plasterers Guild. Yeah. Are you guys just living here, or are you going to open up the tavern again? Like, what's your game plan here?
I think we're going to open up the tavern.
All right. Okay. You're going to want to talk to the Butchers Guild, Chandlers and Lamplighters, Stonecutters, Masons, Watermen. Well, the Distillers and Brewers Guild, obviously. Right.
Definitely.
I think we met them.
And you might want to check in with the old Magisters and Protectors Guild. You may want to, talk to them, maybe slip them a gold or two so that, some City Watch people come by, keep an eye on the place, make sure everything's kosher.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna open a tavern, well, I gotta do my business. You gotta be a member of the Fellowship, of course. Technically, as you're an innkeeping establishment, I'd be happy to, assist you with contacting some representatives. If you want me to handle some stuff, I can talk to some people, some friends of mine in the other guilds. We can get them to come out here and take a look at the place and give you some estimates after you pay your membership, of course.
Of course.
Technically, are we an inn? Because if we're just...
Tavern falls under the same
I understand your thinking right there. The legal code establishes those taverns as inns. I mean, there's really not a lot of strong distinction between the two entities in the code, right? Now, I admire that spirit, right? And I'm sure you guys can do the work yourselves if you wanted to, right? You don't have to have the guilds there. There's not a law against doing the work yourself, of course not. But the way this city, you guys new here? Or?
No.
We've all been around.
Well, you know how the guilds operate, right?
Yeah.
You know they're proud people, proud organizations, and if they figure out that you're trying to do this work yourselves and not putting a little bit of gold in the palms of the working people, who got together, to protect themselves and others, and people coming in and trying to ruin their business, that's going to leave a bad taste in their mouth. They're not gonna.
Seems fun.
Maybe you lose a few customers over it. I mean, I don't think it's. I've never seen it like done in a hateful way or like in a really aggressive way, but just like you rub people the wrong way, they're gonna tell their people like, don't bother coming over there. You're gonna lose money.
I think we want to do it the right way, right?
I'd agree.
Now these people they're experts, right? You don't want like spotty work done on the framing or anything or the brickwork. Like, that's gonna fall apart. You're gonna get what you pay for, right? That's devastating. So I mean, these people in the guilds, like they know the shit, right? You don't have to worry about that. I'll tell you, last summer, right? So bakery opened up down this outer street, right? The guy tried to do all the work himself. Didn't pay attention to the Bakers Guild. They tried to give him all the advice in the world. Turns out, because he didn't listen to them, he didn't store his flour correctly, like according to procedure and everything like that. Water gets in, ruins the whole stock, right? He's out of business a week later. It's a shame, just because he didn't listen to the guild people, right?
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
So, here's the deal. You start in a tavern, you got to be in the fellowship. We got a couple of plans, right, that we can offer you for membership in the guild, all right? We got two options. You can either pay a single gold piece every 10 days, right, sort of a regular charge, right? Or you can go ahead and set down 10 gold pieces, and that'll cover your membership for a year. Okay? Now keep in mind, you doing this, I'm more than happy to come by and get you in contact with people and get estimates and stuff like that and help you out, This place used to be great. I want to see it, moving again,
It's obviously better to pay 10 for the year, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Did we all put in for that?
2 each.
Sounds fair.
Do we have to pay right now?
Yeah. I suppose.
Why not just take care of it?
I suppose this can be done immediately.
Well, the sooner you buy into the fellowship, the sooner I can get started on your connections and everything. Get this thing rolling,
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Oh, are you guys going to brew your own alcohol, by the way?
I don't think so.
We haven't.
No, we're not brewers.
We'll see.
Okay. Let me know if you do, because you're going to want to talk to the Vintners, Distillers, and Brewers Guild. Cause
Definitely.
They've got some expertise. They've got some materials. Like, they're going to want to keep an eye on that stuff.
Yeah.
You making your own food, too, or are you getting that in from outside?
I'd imagine we'd have to pull in from somewhere else.
Right.
None of us are really landowners outside of Waterdeep.
Yeah. Well, the Guild of Bakers, they're going to, if you decide to do, like, breads or, like, pastries or stuff like that, they're probably the most sort of finicky of the guilds. They're going to be kind of upset if you don't go through them. Produce and stuff, or just like meats and stuff, you can just go to the open market and grab that stuff. But if you're going to do any like serious cooking or brewing on site, you got to talk to them.
Of course, yeah.
All right. So
I'm gonna make my way over to the mirror and just be pretty gosh. I'm like, hey, should we join the guild? Like towards the mirror. I'm trying to ask.
I know.
It's the only way he knows how to communicate to it.
all right. So Like, assuming that people...
You're
just
like
give me
face really close to this mirror. You're waiting for some kind of response.
I'm looking at.
Alright,
put the
so,
Is he okay, man?
yeah, he's eccentric.
He did,
Alright,
if he's
so
going to make a big
here's
fuss
what you
about
need.
joining the guild,
Alright, so here's our
I don't imagine.
here's our
he would.
yearly club
He's-
due.
He's here to serve.
Cool. All right.
well, he was the previous owner.
Uh,
Maybe he wasn't in the guild before.
Now,
If he
That's
wasn't
why-
in the guild,
that's why
it
he's
is
dead.
something that we can do with
Maybe
you as
then he
our-
gets
as
a
our rep.
vendetta.
to have-
Now we have
Then
to.
we get a priest.
Pretty much anybody from all the guilds as a representative come by here and come visit for some...
I'm sorry. Would you say I was miles away?
Oh, no problem. It's something now with our what includes in our membership.
I'm trying to coexist
Can you
with
send reps from all the guilds coming by?
Yeah, man. That's the idea. Yeah.
Cool. So,
I'll call
I
my
think he's
people and I'll get in contact with
It's
them.
going to be a
You know, and then some reps will come by and they'll do some estimates and they'll let you know, like, what you're looking at, right? Yeah, no problem. I'm your guy for that. You just let me handle all that stuff. People are going to come by in the next few 10 days and, take care of it.
all right. Excellent.
Great. Well, again, welcome to the neighborhood. Glad to see you. I hope this thing takes off, and if you need anything else, come down to the Fellowship Innkeepers. You let me know. Our offices are in the city. You just come down and talk to me. I can handle anything you might need. So, yeah. So you guys take care. Have a good night.
out of character, we did pay him, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Lance.
Otherwise, we got to cover it for you.
If I didn't hear a yes or a no from Mark Joseph, I'm
You heard nothing from the ghost.
Yeah. Just got to assume on that one.
All right.
He's dead.
Well,
He doesn't have a lot of opinions about the living.
Just throws mutts at them.
I should be speaking to
All
some
right,
of these reps as they come in. We'll
As
keep an-
another point of order, I've actually found us a job to help pay for this stuff.
Oh, excellent. What kind?
Yes,
Well-
I'd be curious to know.
I talked to
What are we stealing?
one.
Excuse me.
Al-Cid is like,
Okay, no,
You're just assuming we're going into a life of crime because that's what you did?
we're on the opposite end of that. I talked to one of my contacts in the city guard. They're busy, so it's kind of small potatoes for them, so they're not really looking into it. 5 crates of Tetron whiskey disappeared. An Ardent Tide is a proprietor of I guess it's a fancy wine shop.
gotcha.
And he was supposed to get this. The dwarven driver, Seamus, delivered the crates, but they were empty. He said that nobody touched them, and the booze just disappeared. So our job is to find them. The shop is in the Castle Ward, on Lamp Street, right next to the Great Drunken Tap.
The Great Dunkin' Donuts.
The Great Drunkard. Yes.
Drunken Donuts?
I mean, it's a good mix.
They'd increase their profits in like a month, if that were the case.
It'd be like the weed shop and like the pizza shop.
The combination pizza I talk about.
The Girl Scouts who set up outside the dispensary.
Yeah.
So I think we should find this driver, talk to him, definitely talk to the proprietor, this Arden, and see if we can find his whiskey.
Sounds good, I suppose. I guess it's
Sure.
within my...
I wouldn't be
skill set.
opposed to having somebody who's also in the Brewers Guild owe us a favor.
That's true.
Good point.
And if the whiskey never makes its way back to...
I mean,
If the whiskey never makes its way back, we probably don't get paid.
Talk amongst yourselves. I will.
well, if we find the culprit and they've already, drank all of it,
Messages will be right back.
we might not get some favor, but
Well, if they already drink out of it, that's one thing. If we find it and it never finds its way back, that's another thing.
I have a very strong feeling they've already had it, whether they have or not.
Or at least part of it, I would assume.
Well, I mean, things like that. And when given on good faith, typically it doesn't matter whether it's they receive the full thing. It's just the fact that we did it alone is
Exactly.
enough for a favor.
Eliminating the people who would take from them in such a
Again.
way. Exactly. No
Well,
repeat
Who
effect.
would be taking from them?
We don't
We'd be taking from
eliminate
those who
people
took
in
from
the
them.
city because that is legal. We
No.
capture
We
them.
need inventory.
Yes, eliminate as in remove from the market. That does not imply killing them.
Unless the guild says so.
We'd be waiting on Waterdeep, the Waterdeep guard for that decision.
Okay, I'm just,
Not us.
trying to get our hierarchies. So it's guards above guild now. Okay.
Yes, because the guilds probably can be shut out by the guards.
Yeah. and
Individually, at least. As a whole, well, I'm sure that would be a very interesting political
Either way,
story.
the guilds leave law enforcement to the guards.
They understand proper division of labor.
Yes.
That being said, Al-Cid, you're a man of magic, which tends to be rather lethal. Do you have means of restraining yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I normally don't. To be fair, really, up until what we just did, I normally haven't used any of my invocations for lethality. It's kind of a byproduct for what I actually really got it for.
What would that be?
My devilish charm. And this guy. Is that right, Vex? As he just like...
I guess sleep would have been good.
Interesting.
But, that being said, I'm more than willing to help out. Typically my skill set's more social in nature, but if you need...
Okay, this is a thing that's sooner done better. So
Sounds good.
We will likely need your social skills to figure out where this is. Especially if you happen to have any connections to, I don't know.
I have a lot of... I have a lot of above board and some below board.
Now we're
Some-
talking.
Sometimes you need those connections. They are useful.
But
It's nice to get the full picture.
I'm unsure exactly. We can depart from this whenever. I wasn't sure exactly how we were planning on running this. By the way, I have some proprietary experience, but beyond that, haven't been much of a manager of sorts. So
I suspect we'll have to hire somebody to run the bar.
right. Was that
Well,
no,
unless we can convince our resident spirit. Although
We'll be
I'm
involved
not.
somehow.
that would be if
I'm not-
That
that'd
would be
cool.
impressive. if
That
you
would be
could do
very
I'm not
very good gimmick.
enthused by the idea,
Absolutely.
but
Then what's he going to spend the money on? Well, no.
Who knows the business better?
Lev, do you have things to spend money on?
We could pay him a wage and then use it as reinvestment into, his own bar,
I assume it would be covering all the tankards he smashes.
Deductions in his pay.
Hmm.
Well, he just wants the bar reopened. If we do that, he'll be happy. He won't break things anymore.
If you say so.
He said fine. He wrote fine on the mirror.
You are aware of people and those past can still be passive aggressive, yes?
We'll see. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Fair enough.
Passive aggressive.
Passive.
Passed on aggressive.
Or pesto aggressive.
Pesto aggressive?
Pesto aggressive.
Pesto.
Delicious.
That's delicious.
Very, it's like, this dish is very pesto forward.
It's like the only dish he makes is
Just pesto.
pesto.
It's just a
Nothing but
bowl of pesto. No pasta, no nothing. It's just pesto.
Pesto. And then you get a mug of ale with it.
Right.
Thrown at you.
Okay, so
Well, you wouldn't happen to know somebody who would deal in the trade of, by the sound of it, high-end wines?
Up to you. Do you want that to
You're talking about
be a
stone,
roll, or
I
is there
imagine.
something I could know or not, or it's up to you? Oh, I like that. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Pay that fate.
I mean, I have my criminal contacts.
If we wanted to go the underground.
Now,
instead
now,
of-
yeah, Tom raises a good point. I mean, he has his background feature of criminal contacts. Like, he probably knows someone who illegally works
buy it.
in whiskey. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he could probably put you in with a buyer.
Sure.
But if you want a contact for yourself, like you could, if you spend that, you can absolutely have a fellow.
Well, I won't take anybody else's fun away. But
I'm just
Well, you're here, so there's some fun being taken.
Yeah.
well, that's just the price to play. So,
pay to play.
feed entry. Why not? Let's start there. At least, and then as this list grows, I just kind of keep it in a notes section.
You're searching your memory, and your mind stumbles upon a sort of a hazy memory of a half-orc fellow in town who dealt in sort of illegal luxuries, certain alcohols, drugs, foreign
The deals in what?
spices and food, just illegal luxuries, basically. Jamart.
Nice.
That's a good half word.
We'll just call him J-Mart.
Jamar.
Should I hire him as bouncer for the tavern?
You know, he's probably still in. I mean, the last time you checked, he was
go inside.
he was still in Waterdeep, and he was still dealing in this stuff. You know, putting drugs and alcohol for people dealing it under the table.
That's not poltergeist. That's just the drugs you're taking.
There's some strong drugs.
I should say illegal and legal luxuries, but most of his money
Right.
comes from the illegal stuff.
Legal stuff may be illegally obtained
Yeah. So,
because they don't want to pay taxes.
wine specifically, yes, but like it deals a little bit in a bunch of illegal goods. Some half-orc by the name of Jamart helped him broker a deal with some of the couple of local shops for better cut for some higher end like booze and I guess like exotic foods from that were imported. You can pay him a visit. I'm sure he's a half orc, so he's got naturally well, we've all dealt with that.
Very gregarious.
Well, just attitude.
What you're saying is you're racist.
What I'm saying is that half orcs have attitudes. Prove me wrong.
I mean, I knew a
everybody's
guy who...
You must spend the fortune point to prove him wrong.
Universal
We're
truth.
gonna start abusing this
Yeah.
this power.
Fortune points should not be used in PvP combat.
Social PvP combat. Immediately walks outside, sees a really nice like half orc like family.
Selling flowers, just handing them out to people.
you just, hey, how's it going over there? Fuck off. Oh, I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Okay, never mind. Anyway, so that's about as good as I got as far as kind of what we're looking for. So,
If he happens to know of trades being made in the city, or especially if he knew or heard of something about this one, that would at least give us some place to start.
sure.
This is a rare alcohol. You might have, heard of the trade itself.
Sure. And even if he himself has not dealt with it, chances are he probably knows someone else that probably would. So, people-
Now, I'm sure not all of us should really be hopping along to pay this man a visit, lest he worry.
No, aren't you? You deal with similar things, don't you?
Import-export, yes.
Would you like to meet this person?
Would be interesting.
I figured you'd want to.
I'll go check out this gnome, Arton Pride.
Cool. And what's the case in a nutshell that we're solving? There's this case of whiskey gone, and we're just trying to locate it.
5 crates of whiskey arrived from a distillery to this Arthur's shop, this wine shop, wine and spirits shop. Yeah. And the actual whiskey itself inside the crates, when they opened them at the shop to start distributing them, were missing.
Okay, I see. So, and what was the gnome? Out of character. Like, what's the lead you're chasing? That's just the owner of the shop.
Yeah.
Got it. Temperance, Rhys.
Can head with her. You don't want to.
Sure.
Overcrowd.
Sounds good. Alrighty. What's that?
Suppose we'll have to close up.
Oh, that's
Keep a
we're
watch.
only given one key.
Close it.
We should have,
Constantly shuffling who has the key.
we should have copies made.
Probably not a bad idea.
That's the same clone. It fades.
Probably not a bad idea to get the locks, or get locks on some of the bedrooms upstairs as well. A little extra privacy.
Yeah,
Well, there's
since
something
I
the
was
guild
last
can
to
do.
this party, have all the bedrooms been taken?
There's the bedroom on the second floor, and theoretically somebody could change that spare room into a bedroom.
Yep.
A little small, but it's got a balcony. Now, mind you, I'm sure some of you actually live in this city, so if there are extra rooms, we could potentially rent them out if we're going to be classified as an inn, even if we only have one room. Though I suppose we could turn the common room into a, well, common room.
Nobody's opposed. I'll take attic storage as my room.
The what?
The storage.
Sure.
What's the...
In the attic.
Attic storage.
Oh.
Instead of the actual bedroom. Did you want the bedroom? Or did you want...
The way I think of it, the bedrooms come with beds. The other rooms, you probably have to either buy a bed or just roll out a bedroll and you'll be fine.
Honestly, the beds in this place, you're gonna have to buy a bed.
Oh, yeah. No, I was like, I'll take
Want
the...
to upgrade anyways.
So...
I mean, I've been sleeping on the streets. I mean...
As a,
This is a step up, indeed.
if you want the attic, have it. Then, I'll actually take the bedroom on the second floor.
You're gonna have to start marking who's sleeping.
And adjoining. So that leaves, well, for Rhys, we gotta go find you something.
So Al-Cid is taking the bedroom on the second
They'll
floor.
sleep outside.
No, there's no actual bathroom in the second floor. Oh.
There's a nice common room.
I mean, there's 2 baths and then there's 2 privies, mind you.
I guess there is a privy right there, yeah.
I'm not sure if bath includes toilet.
Probably not, since they say privy too.
Mm-hmm. The bath is
you're-
literally a bath
Because your bath actually has a door to
to the hall
To
and
the
then to
hall.
the privy as well.
That's why I like the other bath. The other bath
The
only goes to that bedroom.
private bath on that one. So Al-Cid is taking second floor bedroom.
I love that part of
Temperance.
this module is us getting to play The Sims, and I'm pretty excited. I don't know if the rest of you are. It makes me excited.
Need that menu music from
Yeah, yeah. It's like when you're in the build
painfully
mode.
iconic.
Yeah.
Parts of
Oh,
me
man.
wants to put in like a secret door between the bathroom and the library. Just
Well, let me just say this, Nick. You do your woo-hooing outside the tavern.
Yeah, I'm sleeping above you, so keep it down. I will buy a broom specifically so I can pound it against the floor.
He's just gonna have one of those tennis balls and hang it up against the ceiling.
Ooh, nice.
That is The Sims.
Then just say
I just want that elevator music again. You know, from
Okay,
And that's
so that
in your build
puts
mode. Or
Raven, you're in
house
the
mode.
attic bedroom? Yes?
Okay, that
Well, I
was
was going
right.
to take the attic storage so everybody has
I really
a
have to
bedroom.
hand it to the
Well, Al-Cid
soundtrack
took
how
the
pleasant
bedroom
they
on
made it.
second floor. If
Yeah.
you want to take attic storage, you can go that way.
Well, you're going to have to listen to it
Rhys
for
doesn't
really,
have a bedroom.
really long time.
Do you
It's
want a
gotta be
bedroom
particularly
here?
pleasant.
What's that?
Do you want a bedroom here?
I don't care.
Well,
He's going to get an actual house, live away from all these crazy people.
If you want the attic bedroom, you can have it. If not,
The entire attic will just turn into...
Ravenland.
Yes.
Ravenland.
No. Let's be honest. It's a Raven Loft.
Buy your Raven.
Take
Take 20 down.
I am dead. Are we going to do death saves for that one? That's a fail.
So much audio.
That's a pass. That's a pass. Okay, it's okay.
Oh no. The fight. The
I'll wake
fight
up in
is
2
real.
hours. I saved. I stabilized from that pun. 2 hours.
Alright, so I guess we can always come back to this too. So we can continue plot, I suppose.
What?
What? Yeah, I know, my bad.
So what's your plan, guys? The
Uh-oh.
rest of the day.
So I think the three of us are going talking to the gnome,
Yeah.
right? And you two are going and...
Are you sure?
Paying a visit to your friend.
To Jamart.
Yep.
Is
Good old Jamar.
Is that your file? Are you sure that's what you want to? Oh yes. I literally listened to this at least 6 hours, like reading.
Dang.
Dude, yeah. Over multiple days, but you know,
Still.
Just making me think of that.
I could, you know, it saves your spot, so
All right, so
it has a great like pause in it. It's like,
so a lot of you are now so the three of you, Al-Cid, right, and
Nora.
Yeah.
and Raven.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Just Al-Cid
Just
and Nora.
Are going to
Yeah.
The
Jamart.
Jamar.
So you guys are heading to Jamart.
Yep.
You and who
The
else?
three of us.
Okay, got it. And you're heading to the spirit
gnome.
shop.
The
Got it.
gnome.
Okay. Well, let's deal with Jamart first.
Sure.
So, you, Al-Cid, you make your way to his last known location. You know that he, has a relatively small sort of shack off of the Street of Whispers in the Sea Ward, close to where the West Gate in Waterdeep is.
Exotic dancing doesn't pay what it should.
He's done with that now. He's going to college.
Oh?
He did his time.
You make your way down the Street of Whispers,
The
turn
street
left
by
on
the
Shark
marble.
Street, and there you are
Say
at
half
this
orc,
sort of
giant
ramshackle shack that that you
Is
know
timber?
was Jamart's last known location. Place looks pretty dark and kind of run down, but
Is it like a shop?
it appears to be like it may. The last time, have you ever been there before?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Well, then you know that it is a shop that's been converted into a sort of apartment/warehouse kind of thing.
Sure. Okay, so it's bigger than it lets on.
Bigger on the inside.
Yes.
Now, is it like business in the front, shady business in the back?
It's shady business all the way through.
Okay, you got it.
Yes.
So cool.
It's sitting in the shade.
So by this time, it's it's late afternoon. The sun is beginning to sort of soften a little bit. You can smell the sort of the sharp odors of fish and sea and salt water coming from the docks and the West Gate area. And it looks like that the place is. You can see a light burning inside there somewhere, so somebody must be home, or they didn't extinguish their candle, which in a mostly wooden shack is a terrible fucking.
Oh, no, yeah, right. So, go up and Do I know is this a place where I just walk in, or is it
Secret knock.
You know that Jamart. What you know of him, and it's admittedly
Sure.
not a lot. I mean, you
Right.
haven't talked to him
Yeah.
a whole lot. You know that he is a little
Paranoid.
on the paranoid side, honestly. So
gotta be.
he wants to. If you came in uninvited without making
No
sure that your
appointments.
presence was known, he may stab you.
fair? Okay.
Appointments necessary.
So you need to make
For
your
your
presence.
safety.
You can't just
Or
like
not.
if you
That's
just
a very good
stroll in there, you'll probably get an arrow in the face or a dagger.
Right. All right. So, shut up.
You know this?
Slow
So
down.
how well do you know this guy?
I mean, not very enough as a professional contact. Like, he's not my friend, but you know,
Okay.
I did work with them.
There's a half second of silence, and then what sounds like a sort of a scrambling happening.
He's putting away his collectible figurines.
You hear some heavy footsteps, some what sound like cabinets or pieces of wood being opened and closed. And
Money
slammed.
See?
And then, very slowly, the door creaks open, just like almost an only inch. And you see a bloodshot eye looking through from the darkness.
A thermal wing. H mark.
What the fuck do you want?
Looking for some information, and also set you up with a nice new contact. You mind if we come in for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, fine.
Door talks are fine.
Alright, I'll keep it brief. Here's the deal. I'll lay out the situation of the case as it's laid out to me. You know anything? Well, I should say. You know anything where perchance 5 of these crates or these contents could show up? Is it you? Someone I can maybe get a hold of?
Who told you about that?
Some of
You were talking to Zent?
No, not the Zets.
Hey.
No, listen, come on, I get it. Listen.
It's the cocaine.
Okay. It's the good stuff. You ain't nothing but trouble for me. Understand?
Well,
Alright.
Some
Well-
parts about you haven't changed.
Alright, so
You should avoid him. Just like it's
So pull out like a gold piece, so I have him slide it against the door with it's just showing above the fingertips.
Yeah.
Just the glint.
All right, Jamart, I understand I'm wasting your time, but seriously, let me know. Some of this may where you think that something like this may turn up, or who we can talk to. I really appreciate it. And next time you need something, maybe coming in or out. I got someone who's just the person you're looking for.
The fuck you talking about? I can't see. Move out of the way.
Do the clasp just like
Just
hold
shuffle.
on. Hi.
It's Nora.
I didn't know
Skilled
this was
smuggler.
a conference call.
Okay,
Really?
I'm done. Come back.
Put me on
You
speaker.
see a rough-looking green hand, fingers come through, grab the gold, and snatch back in.
I'm becoming poor from bribes, which is the best way.
Gotta make that money.
Yeah.
Make that cheddar.
You said it was Ted-3 and whiskey?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what you need to know, but then you get the fuck out of here.
You got it.
We clear?
Nope, you got it.
Hey! Are we clear?
Yeah, we're clear.
Are
We are
we
clear. We're clear as crystal.
Don't fuck with me.
I'm
Are
like-
we clear?
Looking around to make sure nobody's around. Yeah, no, we're clear.
You are looking half-elf woman. Enel. E-N-N-E-L. Half-elf lady likes to deal in
That's stolen whiskey. I've gotten some of it before from her, but I ain't heard of this job. And I ain't know nothing about it.
You got it. No problem. Dude, I was never here. You know where she's at?
No.
Alright. Well. Jamar, it's been a pleasure.
You see what looks like the tip of a blade very slowly make its way underneath the eye through the fuck out.
So I like back up slowly and then just like turn around and just
You see the blade slowly going into the darkness.
Great friend you got there.
I never said they were great. Alright, but we did find out what we need to know. Also, I may find you working in the future. Look at that. Who says I never did anything for you? Alright.
Yeah.
So, let's do this this power walk down, like, you know, down the boardwalk.
Solid 5 to 7 feet away to not associate.
So, as I like turn around, like just doing the whole pointing thing, it looks as though we are looking for this emerald lady. Half elf, I guess, deals with just like stolen whiskies of all sorts. So,
Nora, what's your AC?
Oh, wonderful. Let me check.
37.
13.
13.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't think... is that with or without armor? Because I don't think I actually put armor. Oh, no, it's armor. It's very light armor. Just leathers.
Okay, so there is as you're walking out away from Jamart's shack through the seaward, you hear what sounds like a crack. Sounds like maybe like the end of a whip being thrown, or like a piece of wood splintering, or something like that. And you feel a sharp pain in the juncture between your neck and your shoulder blade.
Gonna do the quick, like, hand to it with fingers open, expecting to, like, go around something, and then be able to try to pull a little bit at that.
You take 6 piercing damage.
Ooh, spicy.
And then, that wound that you feel, that stinging pain in your back, begins to heat up, and you begin to get, like, actively nauseated. You take 11 poison damage.
Oof.
So I'm like, going back and talking to Nora, and then this happens. Is there anything in view as I'm like walking back?
So how
The
much
two of
was
you are
that
just
total?
So it was
17? All right,
17.
unconscious.
So the two of you are walking along the seaward, walking. You hear this cracking noise, and then you see Nora, and then fall to the ground. You see on her back that there is what looks like a circular wound, about the size of, you'd reckon like a round shot, but yay big. You can see that hole right in between her neck and her shoulder blade, about yay here on the right-hand side, which is actively sort of bleeding, and there's a kind of there's an acrid scent sort of wafting from it. You can see some smoke and some hissing, pungent, bubbling.
Gotcha. So do I see the assailant?
Do you want to make a perception check?
Yes.
You can do it.
12?
12.
Probably not.
So
The best part is
you scan the street, whip around, take a look. Some of the buildings are kind of low and hanging over this actual alley. You take a look at the top of the roofs. You look in every direction. There's nobody here.
There was 500 of them. Face in the ground.
The castle of.
I like look around. I'm like, so is there any city guard around?
Now the seaward is a little bit more rough and tumble. There doesn't appear to be a city watchman around here somewhere, but you might have to travel a couple of streets over to find one. But
Paralyzed with indecision.
Yeah. I'm just
really
like,
good in a crisis.
yeah, I'm just like, what the hell?
Al-Cid is too poison.
I'm just like, I don't even have no idea what just happened. I'm like, and I like go up to her. I'm like, hey, Nora, wake up, hey. And I'm like, what the hell is that? It's just an inflicted wound. It's not like a dart or anything. Right?
No, it looks like a hole. A
Oh,
hole in the back of about yay big.
okay. I'm like,
That's gonna leave a mark.
is she bleeding out?
Yeah, I mean, you were dropped to
Yeah.
0, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, she is actively bleeding out from this wound.
Sure.
And there's also this sort of bubbling, hissing around the wound itself, with this kind of this acrid stench.
You're a super soldier for my class.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Right back at the base of the neck.
I'm going to
It's my
like
only
just
weakness.
shout like, I need help. Can someone lend any assistance? my friend's been hit. And I go like try to like I don't know. I'm gonna attempt to like help stabilize.
Okay.
Um,
You do a medicine
I saw
check.
this in a play once. Chest compressions. Chest compressions.
Just like hand over the wound or what have you.
Steve Martin and Dead Man Don't Play. Fell
16.
unconscious and your breasts went all out of whack.
Assuming that's kosher to roll for.
What'd you
like
get?
A 16.
Yeah, I mean you're
Yeah.
passing the medicine check to
Just
stabilize. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like just
So you put your
Like some-
hand
some-
to the wound.
like
You,
some spare cloth.
Yeah,
like,
you take a strip of cloth
a
off your,
handkerchief. I wouldn't
Yeah.
dare use my clothes.
tie it, like stuff it into the wound and everything, and try to like prevent the blood from coming out. You realize that it's going to be you've managed to. If you don't get Nora some medical attention fairly soon, the little that you've done to sort of staunch the bleeding
Sure.
is not going to help anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to. I mean, not very well, but like start like dragging her.
Always the way you want.
Weekends
you
and
want
Bernie's.
The weekend.
Wait a
It's
minute,
like-
weren't you the Buffalo
When
number
your
group
character's
with the
dying, you
10
always want someone to lead off.
The
with
what?
Not very
But-
well,
the
but
Buffalo number group with a 10 in strength?
I think
No,
so.
not even 8, but that's funny though.
Nice.
No, who really is that where the bar sets right now?
I've got an 8.
Yeah.
8. Yeah.
8.
oh yeah, I have an 8.
I have an 8 too.
There's a bunch of weaklings.
Oh,
yeah.
I usually
Well, we
play
all
the
went
meathead.
stealthy.
Cruddy
Stealth and
assholes.
magic.
But we're doing an intrigue. I should choose a bard over like a barbarian.
Or a
Okay, well,
barbarian.
I'm just going to like continue. Like, well, I'm gonna.
I don't think I can do
Comically.
Are you
trying to
literally
drag
dragging
body
her by like
through
a
the
leg or
street.
something?
Well, like up into like the side of a building. I don't want to like laying up across the boardwalk.
Okay, so you're pulling close to off of the street, sort of towards the buildings.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I go to like
That's-
if there's like a, I don't know, is there like a fruit stand or a fish stand or
Probably
something?
like 120, 130.
Not in this particular area, but they're like there are sort of
With
some
an 8 strength,
abandoned
you pick up something
storefronts
always
that you can
120.
just sort of
Yeah,
pull
because I
Nora in front. of.
definitely don't have much
Sure,
weight
yeah.
coming from muscle.
You hear the sound of boots on
What
cobblestones,
about Constitution?
and sure enough, 2 city guardsmen appear at the end of Shark Street. They see you. You've just finished
Yeah.
dragging the body
Constitution
over to the side, and you
So
see
both
them.
average out.
They
average.
one of them draws
Good dexterity, good wisdom, good charisma.
Smooth muscles.
draws
I'm
a
just guessing.
what looks like a large metal club,
Sure,
Not
and the
good
other one
potion.
has got what looks like a light crossbow.
right.
And
That's
both
not good either.
the one with the light
That's
crossbow
just
aims
police
at you.
brutality.
The other guy draws his metal club,
Right.
and he's like, "Stop right there! Don't move!"
The
Nick
classic, like, the
surrenders.
Pixar classic of like, got the guy, hands up,
My friend's been assaulted. Please help her.
Likely story. Turn around, hands behind your head.
Okay, no problem. Can you please help her?
I think that's where we're stopped.
Oh.
On the eve of Al-Cid being arrested.
It wouldn't be a Dragon Heist game without Nora getting knocked unconscious.
You are the only one to go unconscious, right? Twice?
It tends to be a running theme with characters, I think. Although it is an upgrade from dying. So
Just a step above.
Okay, so
Give them the choice.
The many deaths and resurrections of Heather Caitlin.
so how did we feel about the session tonight? What do you want to do more of? What do you want to do less of? I just want to, how you feel? How you doing?
This is pretty good. I like this.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy.
Playing Sims, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, like I think
Just enough of it.
And
I
there'll
wanna
be
pay
more
less taxes and
now
less
that you
guilt-
have the
guilt-
contact with
guilt
Roxy
fees.
Fairkettle.
Yeah.
Now that you're getting in representatives from the guild, there'll be a more explicit mechanical way of playing The Sims, essentially with
Yeah.
your with
I
your
think
talent.
that's cool. Like I don't know. Like I just feel like that's something that's so like missing. I guess from D&D.
Yeah.
That's not something that's often
Well, it's supposed to
explored.
be.
Yeah, it's something you
For
almost
downtime.
you'll almost always find in the canned adventures,
Yeah.
but almost never in homebrew stuff for some
Right,
reason.
and it's like because like who wants to deal with
It's
this?
a
But
lot
like
of
with-
extra side work.
right.
Yeah.
But like given out Manor to play around with and spend 10 hours putting up the
Putting up some new drapes.
wallpaper and
wallpapering.
and like it's cute. I think it's fun.
I'm legitimately looking at this now and going like, maybe I should grab the feat to get brewing. Because that sounds fun. I don't need to be better at combat.
As we move away from
We're on our social
DragonHeist
stuff.
and move towards
Just-
full time running this bar.
Just for this.
Also, like, I'm thinking once I can get it organized and we get the numbers, we'll have you throw up a spreadsheet of like
Yeah, spreadsheets.
of stuff that we can spend and
It is the
Our
only
current-
time
our
I get
current
excited
bank-
about spreadsheets.
our current bank account
is when it's in fantasy settings, buying upgrades for stuff, or
We're-
managing your fiefdom.
We're gonna have a cut that's the tavern cut until the tavern makes money,
Oh yeah.
and then only
I-
use the tavern money.
Like Nora will be happy to try to turn this into a establishment that actually generates money. I'm just curious where we're going. I'm
Sure.
excited to get there.
There's a I can say that this being like in the we're still at the beginnings of this adventure, right?
Oh yeah.
And so we haven't really gone into sort of the
main story.
the meat of the story proper, right? But there's a lot of stuff that I am seeding in
Yep.
that will later
Become.
become later. You'll reflect on that and go, ah,
It
that's
was
why that was-
lampshaded all of
That's why that happened. That's why that was.
Yep. The whole, like, the guild, two
That
guilds
is
fighting, and
The Xanathar and the Zentarum fighting, the various sort of, the
government
assault
worker.
that you just dealt with,
experienced.
et cetera, et cetera. So this stuff
Yeah.
does have, like, this isn't just sort of random shit. There's payoff, or like connections, I should say, with other stuff.
there are threads being made.
Yes, there are
That's
threads.
cool. Like even if, like I said, even if not, I'm just thrilled. I think just it's fun having multiple outlets of just doing cool stuff.
I was generally thrilled when I cast magic on that paper, and you wasn't like, oh no, it's just a nice piece of paper.
Every
No,
now and
it's
again,
it's literally, it's-
I got it there.
every now and again, it's nice to be like, yeah, no, there's some mundane stuff in the world, but
But
not today.
yeah.
Cool. So next Monday for everybody. Oh, yeah. Next Monday, like I have work off. Do you have class off?
Oh, for the holiday?
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
Martin
You
Luther
might-
King
yeah.
Day.
I
Yeah.
believe
Oh,
I
yeah,
have
I
it
should
off.
have that off.
Yeah. Just saying that being said, I have the potential to assemble sooner if people would like to do that, and it would work out for people. Just want to let people know. So,
get a marathon session.
Troll in the Dungeon, I thought you'd like to know.